I'll be down a second, okay? Okay, so we're live on Facebook. I'll be back in a minute or two. Should be live on Twitter. I'm gonna run down and get the guests. So we're live on Twitter? We are. We're live on everything. Okay. I'll be back, folks. This most important thing here. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, got the guest. Wendy, she's a gold medalist. Philip should be here in a little bit. Philip Bryant. Just getting started. Oh. Okay, let's try to. So yeah. Hold on. Okay. Okay. So Philip. Okay. Phone. Time. Oh, guys, you gotta check this stuff out. Where's it going? Okay. Itchy beard. Oh. Hey guys, we're just setting up. It's gonna be a little bit. I got some real wild stuff. Talk to you guys a bit about Sylvia Garcia. The news isn't talking about this very much.
My final thought is that this situation between me and Sylvia. This situation between me and Sylvia Garcia, this was not an isolated incident like the Brett Kavanaugh, Christine Blasey Ford situation. Mine was in the workplace and outside the workplace. She just continued, any little opportunity she had, and this was a pattern of events. It was a series of events, and they're all documented. And again, my grievance is still open.
Wild. I gotta grab the other guest. I'll be right back, folks. Hey, Phil, you here? Okay. Have a seat right there, Wendy. I'm gonna go grab Phil. I'll be right back.
Okay, right here.
We're live on right there's there is social media going on. It's all
okay. Hi. How you doing? Wendy. Nice to meet you.
Taking over Eric's spot.
Okay.
This is the Phil Paul Bryant show now. Hey. What's up, Chris, brother? Jim? Yeah.
So do you know what we're doing?
I don't
Because
know.
I don't.
Yeah, I think we're talking about your book, right?
Nope, it's diving. Springboard and platform diving.
Gotcha. Is that what your book is about?
It's not. I don't have a book.
Okay.
It's I coach
Gotcha.
at Texas A&M University.
Cool.
And I coach a junior team 18 and under, and then I help with the college teams.
I was just keeping your seat warm.
Cool. Tell everybody hi. It's on Twitch and Twitter and Periscope and every social media little thing you could think of. We're live there. Oh, even Tony Busby joined us, who announced he's running for mayor.
Is that the next mayor?
It very potentially is the next mayor. That's a good stuff to talk about. I actually am a big fan of Busby. Big fan of Busby. He's got the right personality to do
You think
it.
you can give me an invitation to the Christmas party this year?
Oh man, have you heard anything about Busby's Christmas parties?
No.
He had Snoop
Certainly.
Dogg. He
Oh,
had
no
Snoop
way.
Dogg at his. He had Snoop.
Oh my
He had
God.
Snoop Dogg at his.
Fantastic. Oh, he's great.
Wild. Oh man.
Is he coming back?
No, it's not this time. No Snoop Dogg this time. But it was a really good Christmas party. Really good Christmas party. Oh man. I'm glad I joined in. We can talk about that. It's a good thing to talk about. Okay. I got all the breakdown of the city of from the voting. I do have the breakdown. Got that a little bit. I got this video about Sylvia Garcia's, the woman that says Sylvia Garcia sexually molested her. Very fascinating. Have you seen this, Philip?
My final thought is that this situation between me and Sylvia Garcia, this was not an isolated incident like the Brett Kavanaugh, Christine Blasey Ford situation. Mine was in the workplace and outside the workplace.
So she
just continued.
She's saying Sylvia Garcia sexually assaulted her.
And this was a pattern of events. It was a series of events, and they're all documented. And again, my grievance is still open, and Sylvia Garcia still has not responded to sexual harassment. The sexual harassment that I wrote back on July 29th, September 30th, whenever the grievances were filed, of 96.
So the thing is with these allegations, they're pretty wild.
Okay. So
we'll go more into it on the show. They're very wild. It's saying that that basically what Sylvia Garcia did is while she was a municipal judge, she had a clerk. That woman there was working for her. This is like 30 years ago. And she went in and was asking her, "You want to see the rash of my leg?" The woman's like, "No, I don't really want to see the rash of your leg. I'm okay. I'm okay. I don't. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. Appreciate it. Yeah, I understand.
Thanks for no thanks.
Yeah, thanks but no thanks." But then, lo and behold, she proceeds to take off her pants. And, that's crazy, and nothing's happened about it. And that woman's just really upset. She's made complaints. She did. That's right.
Democratic system, man.
A second opinion. So how's your bookstore going, Philip?
It's going okay, man. It's going okay. Cheap book, lots of variety. So Saturday we put a big book speaker out and start playing music and stuff like that. Attract additional people. Got little signs we put out. Headphones.
It's also a headphone volume. Yeah, I think it's going to be headphone volumes here. Adjust it. And whenever you take it out, be sure to grab this part right here.
Okay.
I've lost about a dozen.
I know.
It's okay. It's okay. And we got our lovely engineer, our producer, Shannon. She's in another room. She'll be kind of telling us what to do as we start going live in about 6 minutes.
What's your full name? Your full name?
Wendy LaRue, LEREW. And it's Team A&M Diving.
That's it. Yeah, it comes up diving, and another one comes up Olympics.
Okay.
You're in the Olympics?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
a couple of times, yeah. Back in the 80s.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome. I really do appreciate you joining us, Wendy.
Oh no, this is a great opportunity. I'd love to talk about my program a little bit. I'm trying to build it. Like I've been doing it for a while, but we have a little gap as far as how many kids. I've had a couple of kids in Olympic trials last year. Excuse me.
Mr. J. LaRue, that your husband?
Yes, yeah. He's the head Texas A&M coach.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, he was a two-time Olympic coach.
And the Texans are they're doing something. We might go somewhere else.
Yeah, at Texas A&M, you mean?
Oh, well.
He's A&M.
Oh, he's A&M?
Yeah, diving coach as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, not football. I coach the football. No, just kidding. I got y'all confused.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, so we coach. I coach for the U.S. national team as well, junior national team. And he was like a two-time coach, and he wasn't my coach, but so I was been running a program there for about 8 years at Texas A&M, and it's 18 members, so junior kids. We call that junior diving, and they're the ones that are getting ready for the Olympic trials and getting ready for college scholarships, that sort of thing.
So kind of how we do this is there's going to be 4 segments. The first segment, I'm going to kind of talk a little bit and bring Philip in, and we might bring you in we're going to go over different topics of like general stuff that goes on About the third segment is going to be when we're going to focus on you and all the stuff that you've done. And then we're going to kind of tie it in with the last segment, kind of tie in what you've done, kind of summarize what all we've done, all we talked about.
Super.
Yeah. Just kind of, so we'll start.
I'll just keep my mouth shut.
No.
Spoken to.
Yeah. That's, you can feel free to chime in. Just, don't talk. We try not to talk over each other. Try to be very respective, and try not to be too angry. We'll have our own mind. This stuff with politics lately, it's like it's just so much bad energy.
Yeah,
you have your own opinions. I respect anyone's opinion.
That stuff's going on. I mean, I think he's, like not politically correct or anything like that. He's not. He's a wild one. Trump is, but he's certainly moving and shaking things.
I voted for Trump. He did not, but that's okay.
Yeah, I did. And,
that's okay. I have daughters. I can understand.
Says some silly things, and he's not very articulate for somebody who's a president. But he's getting it done. So I think that's
he tries. Some people think he doesn't
try. He's quite brilliant. I mean, he's a brilliant businessman. Let's face it.
I think he's an excellent marketer. I think.
Relative.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, he got something like $3 billion of free media whenever he first ran for president. That in alone, he already won. It didn't matter whether he became president or not. Yeah. It's like someone gives him $3 billion free.
He and all his friends, he's got his own.
Hi, this is Eric Dick, and I think it's important that you know your rights. If your homeowner's insurance company has denied or underpaid your claim, you have the right to hire an attorney. You have the right to call me for free consultation at 833-7-RIGHTS. That's 833-7-RIGHTS. Don't let your homeowner's insurance company take advantage of you. Call me today at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Has your homeowner's insurance claim been denied or underpaid? Call Dick Law Firm at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Feeding rocks. It should not be a crime to feed the homeless. Feeding rocks. A good Samaritan shouldn't be punished for acts of kindness. Feeding rocks. Because it's more of a crime to turn your back on a starving person. Feeding rocks. You shouldn't go to jail for sharing food. Feeding rocks. You can't in good conscience let a hungry person starve. Feeding rocks. Help us legalize charity. Go online and sign the petition. www.feeding.rocks. Feeding Rocks.
I got about 3 minutes. Okay. Yeah, I can hear you, Shane. Okay. Cool. Thank you, Shane. We're about to go. Another minute or so. Okay. Doing the Topo Chico. Okay. Okay, we're all going nice and strong.
It's going to talk Olympics, US Olympics. That's pretty cool. We got our Olympic champion here.
Yeah, Wendy.
We're on the Eric Big Show. This is King PRC 948. I think we're listening up to 740. 740, 950.
We're about to start, folks. Get ready. This is going to be a wild one. We got a lot of juicy stuff to talk about. We really do. Oh man, yikes! It's going to be a fiery hour, folks. So get ready. They're about to start. Just in a minute or so. I appreciate your comments. Oh yeah, we do have calls. Uh-oh. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. We're back. We're back again. Back again, folks. I'm being a little too loud. Producer Shan's getting mad at me. I've already got in trouble. Just got here, folks.
Back for more.
Back for more. Philip Paul Bryant is riding shotgun with me, and our special guest, we have an Olympic champion. Wendy, was it LeBron? LaRue. I'm horrible.
LeBron. Come on, this isn't the Lakers.
I know.
Cleveland or Miami. I can keep going, right?
Well, the Rockets have been doing so bad. Didn't they finally win one?
Yeah.
Finally won one. Oh my goodness, they've been doing so bad. Okay.
They're trying to convince Milwaukee that we deserve a new player. Who's that other player they're trying to get?
I haven't been paying attention to that. I've been crying when I'm sitting in the seats watching them play. That's what I've been doing, is crying whenever I see Harden was out 2 games and CP3 was out 2 games. The only game we won before last night was with the Lakers, when it was just a downright brawl. It looked more like it was hockey than it was the Rockets and basketball. But okay, so let's go into it. Hurricane Michael caused $2 billion of damage. That's what the reports are saying from the
Wow.
So it's going to take a while for people in Florida to really recover from that. And when dealing with insurance companies, it's often difficult, and I'm sure a lot of them are finding out. We had in Houston a storm during Halloween. But it wasn't anywhere near as bad as the poor people in Florida and with Michael. But I'm sure a lot of people in
we're getting a lot of pockets of flooding too. I know some people there in the Astrodome that kind of got stuck, and people, I don't know. Every time it floods, people still try to drive through the water. I don't know why. It's like
Halloween was pretty active in my neighborhood, though, I have to say.
Right.
The kids got out there in the rain and the tornadoes.
The kids don't care anything about any rain. They're not going to let that stop them.
But it seems, though, every time that there's a holiday in Houston, we get a flood. Like we had the Tax Day
flood,
Memorial Day flood.
16, yeah.
I mean, we've been flooded for for the last 5 years. Every year we get a flood, with the pinnacle being Hurricane Harvey.
Yes.
So my question is, we got Tony Busby, who's a multi-millionaire attorney that has some of the best Christmas parties out there, folks. I'm just telling you, the best Christmas parties that ever were.
Let's see if I get on the list this year, man. That'd be. I can't really vouch for the Christmas parties, man. I seen it on your social media. I saw you go live at the Snoop Dogg concert, but unless I'm gonna personally get an invitation, man, I don't know.
Yes.
I feel like the party isn't cool unless Philip Paul Bryant is there. That's just my perspective. Because maybe I'm being biased.
Me too, actually.
But back in high school, the party wasn't cool unless the coolest people in the school showed up, man.
And he's wrong for not inviting Philip. But my question is, I went on a tangent about his Christmas parties. They really are all that in a bag of chips. But he decided he's going to run for mayor. He decided, and he called it way, way early. Like, you don't even have the current elections happen yet.
Yeah.
Is this just some rich guy being crazy? Is this like a serious campaign? What do you think, Philip?
It seemed pretty sincere. I watched the Isaiah Factor. I watched the Isaiah Factor interview, and Isaiah asked him the exact same question: "Are you serious about this?" And his response seemed pretty sincere. I mean, the rest of the interview was pretty casual, pretty funny, pretty jokingly. But when they specifically asked him, was he going to actually run for mayor? Should people take him serious? I heard a change of tune in his response. So that tells me the guy's giving some pretty serious thought.
Is he an improvement from Turner, or is he good, bad, ugly? What do we think?
Well, from the perspective of just analyzing him, you're able to kind of get a track record based on Turner. You know, he's had 4 years as mayor, or 3 years as mayor as of now, 26 years as a state representative. So we can actually give him a proper report card. Whether you give him a A or a D or F, you have the ability to do that based on the actual track record. So with Tony Busby, you don't necessarily have that track record. It's just kind of based on what his view is, what his vision is for the city. And so it's almost an unfair comparison as far as giving them both a report card, because one is just based on ideas, and the other you can actually say, nah, you didn't deliver on this, you didn't fix the potholes, you didn't lower the taxes, got in a huge fight with the firefighters. I just had to throw that in there.
Well, we can go into the firefighters.
I had to throw that in there, right? But to answer your question, I don't necessarily. It's hard to say if it would be an improvement, because it's not necessarily a track record to run on. Running the business is different from running the municipal and the government entity.
Well, but he makes a pitch that, look, I don't need the job. I'm not going to take the money. I'm doing this to make Houston like the top of the city that it could be. I go to all these other places. They talk about how much they love London, how much they love New York, but they don't say such fondness with Houston. And I've had enough. I'm going to change that. That's kind of that, and it's early, and maybe it's eccentric for him to say something like that. Who knows? But I mean, is there something to be said about that?
I don't know. I mean, if he's willing to give me the $235,000 a year that he's apparently going to have some sort of voter lottery, I probably have a different perspective. I'd probably be a little bit more optimistic if I had the $235,000 in the bank account. But
Let's say.
Have you been Have you been paying attention to this any, Wendy?
You know what? On the national level, I have.
Well, we'll get back to the national level. There's a whole lot of great stuff in store for you folks.
She's got to tell us how we can participate in the Olympics.
Oh, we're gonna get to Wendy. Trust me. We'll be back.
Working out, man. These muscles aren't just for show.
I know, Philip.
A little bit for show.
We'll be back, folks. We'll be back in
a
few. The gun show.
They should switch the name. I like that. The gun show. There, Dick.
That's funny. They do play Big Gun. That was their choice of the Big Gun, the gun show with Eric Dick. Okay. Oh boy.
Yeah, I was like, which way is the beach?
Ronald, you still fixing messing up people's Apple computers?
Oh boy.
Yeah, I don't know about his response on the. What he's gonna do with the $235,000 salary? He wasn't gonna take a salary.
That's kind of wild.
You say you're
a
gonna
lottery
to a charity.
He's gonna have a lottery. Give it to some random person.
Right. Give it to the voters.
That's wild.
Have the lottery drawing. Everyone who voted for me gets to participate in the lottery drawing. Wait, is he still listening in over there? I don't want to mess up my chances to get to the Christmas party. This is pretty awesome, man. Coming there with my little Tupperware, man. Like,
It was really like it was really a good.
Take
Christmas
mine to
party.
go. I don't really.
Really?
I'm a connoisseur of Christmas parties. It was by far the best one I've ever gone to.
Fantastic.
Christmas
What
party
was the-
connoisseur.
Yeah,
That's.
I was
He's a
surprised.
pro.
Usually the
I was
Kumashes
surprised.
have really good Christmas parties.
Kumashes do have
Get
excellent
there
Christmas
early
parties.
because the food goes, but they have the free bar that's all night.
Oh, that's yeah. Oh, yeah. I know that. I'm not going unless they have that.
You're right. It's not a party unless the booze is free.
Oh, they got it good.
You need something really to celebrate.
So you want to go into Prop B?
Firefighters?
Yeah, you want to go to Prop B?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
We can go to Prop B. I can go into the breakdown of what the local Republican Party says the votes are, and then we can kind of. I got a couple other things to talk about.
We're going to talk about
What do you got?
Obama, man, coming back on tour. The
Right.
Obama tour.
Dadgummit, producer Shannon making me actually. I'm sitting here just playing around, and she's making me go back to work.
Got to go back to work.
Got to go back to work. Dadgummit. Okay, folks, we're back. We were just talking about city politics. We're going to go back into that a little bit more. Philip was talking about the firefighters, and I'd love to talk about, my dad's a retired firefighter, so I'm just exceptionally biased in Proposition B. But let's talk about Proposition B. Philip, what do you think?
I'm really concerned, and I try my best. I honestly do try my best not to say anything negative about our current mayor, because he has a hard job. He signed up for it, but he does still have a hard job balancing the city and local issues. But when you pin in the firefighters against the police department, that just seems you can't do that. You can't have people battling whether or not who's more important, who does a harder job, police or firefighters. Should they make the same amount of money? Is Houston firefighters paid lower proportionally than other counties around the state? I mean, this is crazy. Who wants to argue? Who wants to vote against firefighters? I think come Tuesday, 7 o'clock, when those early vote numbers hit, by the end of the night, I think the city's going to have a serious problem when the citizens who are most likely going to stand up with the firefighters. I mean, those guys.
I don't see how you can't stand up with the firefighters. I mean, if
Those
you're
guys run into burning buildings and save babies and your family
They're just
members.
everywhere. They're fearless.
I mean, you lose a cat in the tree. I mean, they're showing up.
Yeah.
So what I say is, if
They're not checking you out for ID. They're not asking if you got warrants. They just come to help. Other than
Right.
if you want to compare them to police officers, I mean, this is crazy conversation to even have to have. I think the city's going to have to figure out a way to get the firefighters a raise.
So it's a heads. Mayor Turner loses. Tails, he loses.
Well, technically, it gives him an excuse to start laying off city employees and start cutting services.
But
so
if he does that, is he going to suffer?
He's going to have to do it anyway.
Is-
so the firefighters lose this battle, and they lose the proposition, and he doesn't have to give the firefighters a raise, and he still has to cut city services. It's going to look bad. So in my opinion, it gives him an excuse to cut city services, which the city has to do.
But if he does that, doesn't he suffer the potential repercussions that Anise Parker did, where when she started letting people off, she avoided a runoff from two unknown people by 800 votes.
You were one of those.
I was not one of the unknown people at that time. That was
I know you're talking about.
Fernando Herrera and Jack O'Connor. Both of them ran.
Still two unknown people.
They spent a total of maybe 80,000 total,
I got you.
maybe 40,000 each, and they came striking distance
Right.
from.
Like 53.
Hi, this is Eric Dick, and I think it's important that you know your rights. If your homeowner's insurance company has denied or underpaid your claim, you have the right to hire an attorney. You have the right to call me for free consultation at 833-7-RIGHTS. That's 833-7-RIGHTS. Don't let your homeowner's insurance company take advantage of you. Call me today at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Has your homeowner's insurance claim been denied or underpaid? Call Dick Law Firm at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Feeding rocks. It should not be a crime to feed the homeless. Feeding rocks. A good Samaritan shouldn't be punished for acts of kindness. Feeding rocks. Because it's more of a crime to turn your back on a starving person. Feeding rocks. You shouldn't go to jail for sharing food. Feeding rocks. You can't in good conscience let a hungry person starve. Feeding rocks. Help us legalize charity. Go online and sign the petition. www.feeding.rocks. Feeding Rocks.
Versus
No, she won 50.01.
Okay.
001. She won by 800 votes. She avoided a runoff against people that had no funding because she became so horribly unpopular for a number of things. One of them included laying people off. So if he does lay people off, does he get around the area that he's vulnerable during this election cycle?
Yeah, I mean, if city services start to fluctuate, or people don't, not pick up the trash on time, or city potholes aren't getting fixed as quickly as possible, you're going to suffer that either way it goes. But I tell you, come February, March of next year, some city parks and libraries are going to start closing. I mean, it's inevitable.
Okay, and that's sad. That's sad that the city can't allocate its resources responsibly and do the things it necessarily needs to do. Instead of, every time I've ran for city office, I talked about how you got to do the basic things, do a good job at it before you start doing the ancillary things. Expensive art, those type of things.
Maybe you should run next year, Mr. Eric. Can we talk about that? Are we allowed to talk about that?
We aren't going to talk about that. No, I already got enough. I got it. No. But what we can talk about is so early voting's done. We've got all the ballot by mail, all the early voting's done, and I've got kind of a breakdown of the numbers if people want some intel.
This is an exclusive. This is an Eric Dick exclusive. We got like a theme music right there, like when you say something like that.
Well, it is exclusive. This is an exclusive. Okay, so a total of 106 people voted. Of that, about 36.5% had some type of Republican history. 30% had no history at all, and then 33.18, about 33% had Democrat history. So, I mean, there's one.
Yes, that seems scary.
Well, but let's run with this for a couple times. This is for a couple different things. One is this is the highest turnout we've ever had for a non-presidential year.
This is countywide.
This is countywide. Nearly 1 million people voted. 852,000 people voted early, ballot by mail or early voting. And of that, 37%, some type of Republican, 30% none, no history at all. New voters,
See, that's the thing. I think all of the campaigning and locally and nationwide, it's getting people going.
I don't know if Ted Cruz is out there registering people to vote, bringing out the vote. I think you've got to give a lot of that credit to possibly Beto.
I do give it to Beto, and I've always said that I do not think Ted Cruz is going to win Harris County. I don't think he has the right personality to win Harris County.
But he lives in Harris County. That doesn't seem fair.
And
his neighbors doesn't like him?
I'm not commenting about that. What I am commenting about is whenever he ran last time, 6 years ago, he barely won Harris County from an unknown person. Beto is known and liked in certain pockets. And in full disclosure, I voted for Ted Cruz. I'm a Ted Cruz supporter. But I'm saying that, that Ted Cruz is going to have some serious problems in Harris County. And, if I was like Sherry Dean, or if I was Roy Moore or David, Farr, I'd be upset with Ted Cruz, because the whole reason Harris County's, changing, the whole reason Beto ran is kind of the result of Ted Cruz's arrogance.
So in your opinion, Republicans are in trouble in Harris County?
I think they are. I think they could be. I think, and some of that's sad because you have some really, really good Republicans.
Can we shout out some of those Republicans?
You can name names like Sherry Dean.
Sherry Dean, that's my people right there.
Sherry's a nice
Sherry
judge.
Dean,
She does the backpack to Fifth Ward every year.
Her and Judge Moore and Judge John Schmoody, Alicia Franklin York.
The family law judges are really good in Harris
Charlie
County.
Prime.
How are their Christmas parties?
Not nearly as good as BuzzFeed's.
They need to get their Christmas party game up, man. Think about it. That's why she's an Olympic champion right here.
Sense of humor.
Thinks outside of the box.
So just going on politics, we got a little bit more, and then we can start going into talking about our fantastic guest. Is Sylvia Garcia. There's more information about her potentially sexually assaulting this poor woman. We got a video that I was showing the people earlier on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and Twitch and Periscope, and I was showing them this video.
It doesn't seem as bad, and I'm going to get some backlash on this, but it just doesn't seem as bad when I guess the lady had a medical condition, and she just wanted a second opinion about it.
So backstory is Sylvia Garcia is a municipal judge, and one of the instances, the victim says it happened a lot of times. One of the instances is Sylvia saying she has a rash. She wants the victim to look at the rash in her leg, and the woman says, "No, I'm not a doctor. I'm okay. All this stuff." Sylvia continues to take down her pants, show her the rash, and just kind of rub on her.
You have to say allegedly. You're the attorney, Eric. You have to say allegedly.
They've also changed with the anti-SLAPP law, and there's not such a tort reform has made defamation almost impossible to sue under. So and she seems pretty sincere. So what she says, I guess it is allegedly. I guess not very allegedly, but I
wonder, was the rash allegedly? Was it an alleged rash as well as an alleged pants removal?
But my questions are
innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, I guess innocent until this woman seems like she really believes it. So is it okay? Is it okay that there's no investigation, no nothing? This is someone
that's what women do though. They go together in the restroom. They take restroom breaks together. I thought that was a woman thing.
I don't know.
We're not terribly
I wouldn't show any rashes to.
Well, strangers maybe not.
I mean, is it something common? I'm not a woman. I do have 2 daughters. I'm married to a woman. I have 2 sisters. But Wendy, is it something common that women do? I got a rash. You want to see it? No, I don't want to see it.
Well, if you're good friends and you're at a restaurant or something, and then you're off to the ladies' room together, that's sometimes, I guess, how it would go. But again, you'd have to be pretty good acquaintances, I would think.
Not in a business environment, like it's a judge to a secretary. Hey, check out my rash. No,
not appropriate.
Maybe we should look at the bylaws of the company. Maybe that's a requirement that they give second opinions on rashes and strange.
Well, it's the city of Houston. It could be. It's the city of Houston.
Stranger things.
It is the city of Houston. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised at all. It's the city of Houston. Okay, so another thing that's going on is there's Erin Swanson. She's been running for a judge. She ousted an incumbent on the Republican side.
Oh my goodness!
A horrible, biased, corrupt judge, Teresa Chang, who was there maybe 10 years, and she's very experienced. She spent a large amount of money trying to fend off Erin Swanson, who did actually beat her in the primary. This is a gal. She's young. She's 32. She about 5 years of experience, just barely able to run, but there's still some resentment from the corrupt judge, and she's managed to prevent Swanson from getting some of the traditionally Republican endorsements. Now, I find what's interesting is, it's more the business community. Why did they refuse to endorse Erin Swanson, who's young, who's 32, compared to some of the other people? And I'm wondering, is this sexism? Is this just straight up these business communities? And if she was a man, would they endorse her? Because they endorsed other people that were very young. Jay Carahan his opponent who won. They endorsed him, and he's a young guy. He's a great guy. I'm not dissing him.
Dan Simon.
So Dan Simon was endorsed by some of these organizations, but not Aaron Swanson. So my question is, if Aaron Swanson was a man, would these organizations endorse her? What do you think?
I think you have to say alleged corrupt judge.
Okay, alleged corrupt judge. Yeah, I'm gonna take your legal advice. I'm sorry, alleged corrupt judge. Yes.
That sounds better anyway too. He just gives a longer name, but I don't know. I definitely think that. So did those organizations do a no endorsement?
No, they endorsed the Democrat. And what's wild is Harris County Republican Party is touting these organizations, and they're saying these are good Republican organizations, which not really. They're endorsing Democrats. I don't see, and there's some serious problems with the local party.
Can we call some of these organizations out, or is that?
You can call them out all day long.
I mean, people have a right to know.
Sure, like Texans for Lawsuit Reform, but they're a big business corrupt organization. C Club,
that big group.
C Club. The Texans for Lawsuit Reform bribes people all the time.
Oh,
well, they do.
Alleged bribe.
Alleged bribe. They give money and they ask. Okay, folks, we're gonna be back.
We're taking an alleged break.
I'm gonna
break.
Shannon's gonna allegedly hit me, so we'll be back, folks. Okay, we'll go into you next.
Okay.
I'm just trying to.
I hope I'm okay because I don't know that much about politics.
No,
I really don't, like the national stuff, sort of. But
No,
anyway,
no.
I hope I'm not talking.
No, we're having a great time. We're just talking smack. That's all we're doing is talking smack, giving stuff people to talk about.
You guys are so knowledgeable.
You take a shot at Texas for lawsuit reform every show, don't you?
Oh well, I do. They take shots at me. It's only fair. They do take shots at me, so it's only fair. Only fair.
You can tell us about your how you got into what made you guys start the organization?
Sure. Yeah, I've been sort of doing it all my life. I stayed in coaching. Yeah, glad to.
It's really awesome.
How people find out more information about it.
That would be great. It's super. Like I said, I've got a small group right now. I'd like to see it grow. It's a very small sport. It's not. You see it every 4 years at the Olympics, and
people don't understand how much you work at doing that.
It's very difficult. Conditioning, the fear factor.
Did you receive a medal or anything?
No, I did on the world level, world championships. The Olympics, actually, frankly, I choked.
No, that's happened.
Yeah, and it was my first one competing, and you're 21 years old, and I mean you've been diving a long time, but still you get a little deer in the headlights, and it's whoever either has the most experience or whoever just has a darn great day. You compete against those world people, that field, for at least 4 years on the international circuit. You tour Europe, world championships, Pan Am Games, things like that. And so you're with the same field. So you're used to competing against them. But then when you get to the Olympic level, again, the cameras, the crowds, everybody sort of it can get to you. So it's whoever's got the eye of the tiger, I guess, on that day,
or luck, or how you feel,
if you've got your first say, I know.
All right, we're at the third segment, the final lap around for the Eric Dick Show. We've got a great guest, Wendy. She is just a great athlete. She is a world champion? You were in the Olympics.
Right. Yeah. World Championships, World Phoenix Cup, similar to the Olympic Games, but again, not the huge publicity that the Olympics get every 4 years.
So, Wendy, tell me about being in the Olympics, because that just seems just so wild.
It really is quite an experience. You stay in a village You usually get there about 2 weeks before the actual games start. The opening ceremonies is just crazy. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it on TV these days, what the production that they go into, and all the athletes go in and we watch the whole thing. And the closing ceremonies as well. So it's very, you stay in a village with all the other athletes. The best thing about it is I think that you've got all of the sports there. Everybody is sort of at their peak condition and mentally, physically within their sport. And you've got that in common, no matter from where you come, no matter from what country you are. It's just peace and that beautiful thing in common, that you just sportsmanship and you just want to do the best you can and you're rooting for other people too.
Really? So you guys aren't like making faces at each other
No.
and elbowing each other when you're not hoping the other person breaks an ankle on the way?
No, well, no, some of the girls do. The girls can be a little catty, you know. The guys are cool. But
Pulling Tanya Harding's.
oh,
here and there.
yeah. The old whack in the knee.
Asking you to look at their rash.
Never done that and shan't. No.
So, you went to the Olympics, which is probably just an amazing experience. How long did it take you to train to get there to
Well,
be?
you know,
in the
I
Olympics?
was quite lucky. I did gymnastics. For people, you know, wonder how you find out about a sport like diving and how would you start in that. And you know, gymnastics, cheerleading, dance, things that are sort of acrobatic. Anyway, I did gymnastics till I was 12. So when I came on into diving, I made the Olympic team when I was 14. So only 2 years of training in diving after all the experience in gymnastics, the changeover was quite simple for me, and I was very lucky, and made the team as a 14-year-old. Now, that was the year 1980. Boy, am I dating myself. Oof.
80s are good years.
Well, there you go. Thank you. But it was the year that Jimmy Carter boycotted the Olympics.
Oh.
So that was the year we didn't get to go.
Oh.
And that was all right, you know. And my sister and I made it together. She was 13. But
She was a
you know,
diver as well?
Yes, yeah. But we had another, 4-8 years left.
Hi, this is Eric Dick, and I think it's important that you know your rights. If your homeowner's insurance company has denied or underpaid your claim, you have the right to hire an attorney. You have the right to call me for a free consultation at 833-7-RIGHTS. That's 833-7-RIGHTS. Don't let your homeowner's insurance company take advantage of you. Call me today at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Has your homeowner's insurance claim been denied or underpaid? Call Dick Law Firm at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Feeding rocks. It should not be a crime to feed the homeless. Feeding rocks. A good Samaritan shouldn't be punished for acts of kindness. Feeding rocks. Because it's more of a crime to turn your back on a starving person. Feeding rocks. You shouldn't go to jail for sharing food. Feeding rocks. You can't in good conscience let a hungry person starve. Feeding rocks. Help us legalize charity. Go online and sign the petition. www.feeding.rocks. Feeding Rocks.
In us to make another team. It was very difficult for a lot of the people I know and the older ones that it was their one and only Olympics. That was their shot. They made the team and they didn't get to go. So that was sort of, a political faux pas, if you ask me. It's supposed to be about the peace and the sportsmanship amongst all of the countries. And it was a bad call in my opinion, not because I'm an Olympian, but just I think in general, the whole auspice of the Olympic Games was sort of lost that year. Yeah.
So how many times have you gone to the Olympics?
Well, just once. I made 2 Olympic teams, but again, 1980 we didn't get to go. 84 was in LA, and I sort of choked at the trials.
Oh wow!
But and then made it in 88.
Do you actually go to the Olympics these days, even though you're not participating?
No, it depends on where it is. No. I would like to eventually go as a coach. That's my, my dream. I've been coaching for probably about, 25 years now. And that's my sort of next goal is to have an Olympian myself that I work with.
So how hard is it to even qualify for the Olympics?
It's pretty thick and deep. Again, the experience that you need to have as far as keeping it together in competition. It's not a team sport. I mean, you have to perform in a team sport, and it's a different ball of wax. But you're on show. It's just you. It's silent, and it's all you. And you've got 8 tries or 10 tries with different dives that you got to do, and very difficult ones. So, again, as I mentioned, it's the eye of the tiger, and it's whoever comes out on top. But it does take an extensive amount of training. Diving is not a simple thing to do.
So you're training for this like every year for like so many years?
Oh yeah, like 6 to 8 hours a day. Most kids now are homeschooled. They're ones that want to really do it and want to go all the way with it. You've got other countries like the Chinese, and they just train all day long. And then in order for Americans to compete against that, you've got to put the hours in as a kid. And that's what it takes. It's very competitive as far as skill and conditioning and that sort of thing goes.
So it's stuff you train for like 8, 4, so however many years before.
Oh yeah, at least 10 to 15 even.
Wow.
It's a big commitment. Yeah, it's not necessarily for everybody, but yeah.
So now you're kind of transitioning. You did that when you're younger. You're transitioning to what you're teaching. You're coaching for, diving coach. Is that what you're doing?
Yes. Yep. Springboard and platform diving, and I actually coach at Texas A&M University. So does my husband. Actually, he's a 2-time Olympic coach, Jay LaRue, and I'm doing the 18 and under. So what I'm doing is I'm sort of molding future champions, and some of those 18-year-olds can make the Olympic team now. And stranger things, it's happened. Usually, the more after college age. The 25-year-olds to 30 even can be a lot of people's peak physically and mentally. It takes a lot of experience to go in there and keep it together and score the points you need on those difficult dives to stay in the pack.
If people want to find out more about what you're doing, how do they reach you?
Well, it's actually WLEREW. That's my name, Wendy LaRue, at AOL.com.
Oh my goodness.
There we go, the age thing again.
Oh my goodness.
Does AOL still exist now?
It does. We were big during dial-up. I was really cool back in the day with the dial-up thing.
Wow.
So they email you, Wendy.
Yes, that's the best way, and or Facebook. I have you sort of have to ask to be friends, which is fine. And again, it's Wendy LaRue, LEREW. Yeah, and then
you have one of those dial-up phone things where you kind of.
Yes, I do have a rotary phone.
Wait for it to roll back.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those are pretty rare. They probably could be sold for a mint.
Yeah, antiques for sure. I don't know if you could
get some of those at the bookstore.
You probably do have some of those at your bookstore. Don't you have any of those at your bookstore?
I don't have any of those.
Well, I can rent you one of
mine. Wendy LaRue here. And, maybe get myself a Hotmail address as well.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Oh my goodness. Was that the second one after AOL?
Probably the SBC Global.
Oh yeah, that one.
So I'm just so amazed by the dedication you spent, like getting to the Olympics. I know you were in your early 20s whenever you went to the Olympics.
Yeah, about 21.
So you've been training since you had been training since you were 15, 14.
Well, yeah,
13?
12 actually, and then but in gymnastics it was age 6 to age 12, 4 or 5 hours a day after school. You have to have sort of a bit of a screw loose to do this. It's really time consuming.
I wouldn't say screw loose. You just have dedication. It's just something you feel strongly about. I think it's good that people feel committed about something and work towards a goal. And it's clearly you might have wanted to get a gold medal with the Olympics, and unfortunately you weren't able. But at minimum you were able to make the Olympics, which is so much more than what many people can say that they've done in their life. So, and it's just so amazing that you actually got to have that experience,
Well, thank you, Eric. It was an experience. The whole ride, the great friends I've made, and in the coaching ranks, a lot of them have going into coaching after their experience as divers. And we see each other on the world deck all the time. We see each other at the pool, coaching for different countries.
What's the deepest water you ever dived in?
Well, what you do is the tallest platform that we go off of and do multiple somersaults is 33 feet. So that's 3 stories. And you're required to have 17 feet of water to do that, because you hit at 30 miles an hour, you hit the water head first. So you take a lot of impact in your upper body. That's probably why I can't turn my head anymore. Vertebrae are all fused together. But it's quite the experience, and the impacts up 10 meter are difficult. Now they have high diving, cliff diving now, which is 90 feet for the men.
Oh, that's wild.
And 60 feet for the women, and that's a big thing too. The Red Bull World Series Tour.
Have you done anything with the cliff diving?
Actually, I coach a very, very good girl. She actually holds the record. She's brand new. She went to Texas A&M University, and her name is Jessie McCauley, and she's on her way to compete in the World High Diving Championships actually next week.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, and she's good, and she holds the world record for the highest scoring dive, the most difficult dive for a woman, and the highest scoring one. She had straight 9s from the judges, and so proud to say that I've sort of broken in the high diving ranks, and hopefully that'll be in the Olympics someday soon.
How young do you go as far as coaching?
How young as a coach? Well, while you're a diver, a lot of times you start coaching.
How young will you go? 12-year-old, a teen?
Oh, excuse me. We start them at 6.
Wow.
And go to at least 18 to 25. Yep.
Well, that's great, Wendy. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be back for the final segment. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's fascinating.
Hey, is it true what they say with the water? Like, it's almost like diving into concrete unless you do it right. That's real.
Yes, you hit at 30 miles an hour, and if you're not going straight in, you're going like that. You get impacted. You get smacked around. Like honestly, my back and neck hurt. Springboard divers do okay. They're 10 feet off the water. It's not that serious, but the higher the 3 stories up.
So when you're really doing this little arrow thing, you're really breaking that water.
Yeah, you're doing it.
Hey guys, feel free to call in 713-212-5950. 713-212-5950. We're going to be taking calls.
And try to go in the spot. And there's a fear factor involved. It's not for everybody to go up there. Yeah.
I wouldn't even go up to the 30 feet.
Oh, yeah, you would need to stop by and come
Jump off of my high schools, maybe.
Yeah, then you don't know when you're going to hit the water. It's like, what you do, you have to be a little bit. I mean, I don't mean look at schools to try to train these things out on the bathroom, but diving is just sort of, you got to be a little eccentric, I think, to hurl your body off that height and pray for your land.
I got to ask you, how do you feel about Larry Nassar in the U.S. Olympics?
Oh, who?
Larry Nassar.
Why don't I know that?
He's like some type of pervert.
Good heavens, no, I've not heard of him.
Are
you serious?
He's just. That's one of the comments. It's just a comment. No, it's just a comment. It's a comment on the social media. That's Chris. Chris sometimes he's on the show too.
So he's being funny.
Yeah, he's just wondering.
Oh, Chris said that?
Yeah.
Tell him I said I can handle it. I'll be fine.
Yeah. All right. Yep. We're back. We're back for the final segment of the show. We had a great show, great guest, Philip. You got anything going on with your bookstore?
Oh yeah, actually, bookstore's doing really well. We've got some huge sales going on, so we sell $2 kids books, $2 and under kids books. So we got like 6,000 or 7,000 kids books that we just trying to almost give away. And then we got like nonfiction, fiction books, $4 and under. We got like almost 20,000 books that we're just doing for $20 and under, just to, it's not about necessarily trying to make a bunch of money. We're really just trying to get people back into reading, traditional reading, just grabbing a book. I know audiobooks are pretty popular. People like Kindle and stuff like that. But even having your kids watching you read and read them stories as well.
I agree. It's brain exercise, and it's such a shame that it seems to be that books are becoming a lost, and it's so fast how it's progressed to where there's only computers. Yeah.
But where's your store at, Phil?
We're at 3314 Lyons Avenue, so we're about a mile and a half on the outskirts of downtown or in the Picklewood area.
And this is just like a cool little place where,
hang out, got a couple of chapters in there. Hopefully you don't just read the book and then put it back and
they're too cheap, and you might as well just take it. $2 a book.
$2 a book for a kid's book, $4 for regular books.
Great for Christmas, goodness.
Right.
Yeah.
Huge, got a huge religious section in there. We've got some legal books in it.
I'm just going to see me sneaking around. That's where I get my books at. It's Phil Paul Bookstore.
And they have the definition of allegedly.
Right.
I need to get black.
Allegedly $2 kids books.
I need to allegedly get a Black's Law Dictionary. Philip's going to highlight allegedly real big for you. You want to say this? You don't want to say it? You say alleged.
Right. Yeah. Man, but what's more interesting is that you guys should make sure you guys are following Eric Dick on the Facebook. You'll see me on there. I'm all over his page. But make sure you follow Eric Dick on Facebook. But on my page yesterday, I don't know, Eric, if you checked it out or not, but I put 2 different Obama speeches on there. He was in Florida campaigning for Andrew Gillum, and then he was in what was the other state? Okay, Alabama.
I'm not sure. I watched the Florida one though.
Yeah. So Eric, if you need me to, I can tag those to your page.
That's all right. That's all right.
You're gonna go at it.
You can tag those to your page, man.
I'm cool. I appreciate it, but I'm cool. I'm good.
You may lose a couple of followers, but
and then maybe a couple brain cells too.
Too late.
Alleged brain cells.
So what do you think of the, if we're going to talk politics, since that seems like what you want to do, what do you think of the Beto versus Ted Cruz? Let's go on that.
Man, I like Ted Cruz. I met him several times. Beto seems to be pretty sincere. I actually had some serious concerns about the DWI and the fleeing scene. Once I did get past that, just looking at the issues. Just as a conservative Democrat, I'm a registered Democrat, precinct chair. If the Harris County Democratic Party is listening, I did say that I'm a Democrat.
You also said you were watching Obama, so I think they got that figured out.
They call me in the meetings every so often when I endorse people like Sherry Dean and Roy Moore. They have a sit down with me at least once a year.
And yell at you. What are you doing?
Yeah, I had to read the oath again. But,
allegedly.
The alleged oath. But the cool thing about someone like a Ted Cruz, you don't have to worry about restroom issues, LGBT stuff creeping up into the schools and into the public life. And so that is one thing. That is one thing that you kind of do have some assurances about. Taxes. You got to pay taxes. They're going to build roads. They're going to have to fund the schools and stuff like that. So taxes isn't that big a deal. I'm a tax guy, so I know how to get around it if they try to tax me too much. But with Beto, even though he does have some good ideas, I do think teachers should be paid a fair amount. I think it's just what's more important to the individual voter. I think there's a lot of excitement out every year they say this is the most important election of your lifetime, and every year we go for it. But we'll see what happens. We'll see if the actual voters show up. Not just in Harris County. Texas is a lot bigger than Harris County.
It is very.
Hi, this is Eric Dick, and I think it's important that you know your rights. If your homeowner's insurance company has denied or underpaid your claim, you have the right to hire an attorney. You have the right to call me for free consultation at 833-7-RIGHTS. That's 833-7-RIGHTS. Don't let your homeowner's insurance company take advantage of you. Call me today at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Has your homeowner's insurance claim been denied or underpaid? Call Dick Law Firm at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Feeding rocks. It should not be a crime to feed the homeless. Feeding rocks. A good Samaritan shouldn't be punished for acts of kindness. Feeding rocks. Because it's more of a crime to turn your back on a starving person. Feeding rocks. You shouldn't go to jail for sharing food. Feeding rocks. You can't in good conscience let a hungry person starve. Feeding rocks. Help us legalize charity. Go online and sign the petition. www.feeding.rocks. Feeding Rocks.
It's one of the biggest counties in the country, but it's still a lot more Texas, and so I'd be very interested to know are some of those increased voter trends, in some of those rural areas where they don't necessarily have Facebook, they don't have, they're not on Instagram all day, it's a lot of rural area in Texas that Ted Cruz has a lot of support.
That's what you think that Ted Cruz would win. And I'm actually a Republican, elected trustee for Harris County Department of Education.
I'm going to take the fifth on what I
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Even here.
But just my response only is that, I think Ted Cruz shouldn't lose. But if he does, then why did he lose would be the question. And my fear is just that he has not been as personable as he should have been. And I think another race to watch is Ken Paxton's race. That's another race where I don't know why.
Wait, so Ken Paxton isn't in jail?
He's not in jail. They're all alleged crimes that he allegedly committed. And they aren't like Tom DeLay crimes, and I know Tom's actually a really great guy. They aren't like the Tom DeLay crimes, which got dismissed, or the Rick Perry crimes that got dismissed.
Oh, I like Rick Perry.
I do like Rick Perry, too.
That's my guy right there.
Yeah, well, you better deny that because you're a Democrat precinct chair. That's not his guy. It's his alleged guy.
That's my alleged guy.
I like everybody.
But okay, so and you don't
FCC violations. That's what it was, right?
FCC.
FCC.
Yeah, FCC. It was him. So for Ken Paxton, it was he was getting commissions whenever he wasn't licensed, and that's a little bit different than the Rick Perry thing.
That's not that big a deal. It's not BWI.
But it's kind of worse.
Sort of a big deal.
No.
I don't know. But so is it? That race is one.
I thought it was some insider trader stuff that he was involved with.
It's that too.
Oh. Allegedly.
Allegedly, that too. Yeah. But it's about 3 counts. This case the case has been going on a long time, and I don't know, man. I think he's the most vulnerable out of them all. I really do, and maybe it's just me being an outsider looking in. But I think my fear is, and of course I didn't vote for George Bush either. I couldn't vote for George Bush. I can't.
All Bushes aren't bad.
How did you? I'm not. Did you allegedly support George Bush? You like allegedly?
No comment.
My family was fought in the Alamo. I can't support him. He wants to get rid of the Alamo. I wonder how can I tell my how can I go to Christmas with my family and say, oh yeah, I support George Bush. Well, aren't you a Darce?
Actually,
aren't you?
Tell me an awesome Christmas party as well.
We want to be quiet. We want to be quiet about that. No. Shh. We don't have Christmas. We don't know what Christmas is.
And there's no allegedly Tony Busby party.
No.
Pretty awesome.
Okay.
Got Tim on the grill.
Yeah, Tim does a good job.
Him down at Phil Paul's Barbecue.
What's going on with your barbecue restaurant?
Man, we're opening up on the 16th of this month. So November 16th. We're going to come talk about it. Maybe even get a couple of sponsorship plugs in between some of those Dick commercials.
Eric, that's Eric, Dick. Okay.
Can't you say your name by itself? I got you.
Okay, I'm trying to keep a straight face here, folks. Trying to keep a straight face. Okay. So a couple other things I had kind of here to talk about. Texas windstorm. I'm a homeowners insurance attorney. If people are having problems with their insurance involving property disputes, they're welcome to go to my website, www.dicklawfirm.com. You can add me on Twitter @DickLawFirm, Instagram @DickLawFirm, Facebook @EricBDick, or just any other social media. I'm on probably them all, and I do post these videos of us being here at AM 950 on all those social media. I just saying that as a little of background, people where they can connect with me. Just reminding people that I am a homeowners insurance attorney. If they're having problems with the storms from Halloween, feel free to call me. I do free consultations or represent people on contingency fee. But anyway, now that I got my shameless plug with me, so there were some problems with Texas windstorm. They requested a hike for liability limits, basically to increase their liability, and it was denied. And we're gonna have to talk about that next week, folks.
Can we talk about city elections next week as well?
Oh, we're gonna talk about a lot of stuff next week. If you guys want to get
alleged Bill King supporter,
allegedly. Okay, folks. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next week. I really appreciate it. Thank you, producer Shannon, as always, for doing a great job. Wendy, I really appreciate you being here, and Philip Albright. Shout out to Chris Carmona, who's having a great time, probably in China.
China.
You
gotta say like
China.
Donald Trump says it.
China. Thanks, folks. Next week. China. Okay. So we're going to end. Thanks, you guys, for tuning in. See y'all next week. You have a great day.
Hi, this is Eric Dick, and I think it's important that you know your rights. If your homeowner's insurance company has denied or underpaid your claim, you have the right to hire an attorney. You have the right to call me for free consultation at 833-7-RIGHTS. That's 833-7-RIGHTS. Don't let your homeowner's insurance company take advantage of you. Call me today at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Has your homeowner's insurance claim been denied or underpaid? Call Dick Law Firm at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Feeding rocks. It should not be a crime to feed the homeless. Feeding rocks. A good Samaritan shouldn't be punished for acts of kindness. Feeding rocks. Because it's more of a crime to turn your back on a starving person. Feeding rocks. You shouldn't go to jail for sharing food. Feeding rocks. You can't in good conscience let a hungry person starve. Feeding rocks. Help us legalize charity. Go online and sign the petition. www.feeding.rocks. Feeding rocks.
I gotta go live on. Okay. Hey, folks. Starting another show.
Dude,
Message me. What do you got?
the Rockets, why did they move so bad last time, man? Dude, they made Montrezl Harrell look like an all-star. I mean, he was good when he played here, but he wasn't an all-star. This dude had a career night, 30 points.
The Rockets. And we go from being ranked number 1 to like the worst team that exists.
I think we're down to like rank number 16, 17 right now.
Jeez. I mean, it looks like, or at least Carmelo Anthony can play. That's
Dude,
the only one
I'm
that
telling
can.
everybody that.
That's the only one that can play is Carmelo.
He's trying to redeem himself. He
He's
likes playing with Chris Paul. He really does. It's his best friend.
Oh, well, it'd be nice if Chris Paul played or anybody else. But Carmelo made some good points. Carmelo made 27 points last night. He did a good job.
Hitting from the three. Eric Gordon, did he show up or he was still asleep?
He's asleep. All of them's asleep. But Camille Anthony did a pretty good job. No, I don't know, man. We'll see if the Rockets learn how to play again.
Yeah, they're trying to get Butler. They're putting in everything they can to get Butler.
I don't even know if it matters.
I've been working family time, time of work. I had no time for it.
Yeah, this guy.
We don't even watch Ninja Warrior stuff most of the time.
It was a Monday nights. Monday nights in USA, or it used to be. Now that's Monday Night Raw now. But that is come on.
And if we do catch up, we're usually watching for the Houston folks, people we've met and trained with.
Yeah.
My daughter loves going, oh look, there's Allison. Allison Temple-Wine's one that's been in a few times. Or oh look, there's Daniel. Daniel Gill's one of the biggest names in the sport right now. He trains at that gym.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to miss with this pretty boy hair. Well, him and his wife have the same hair. It's amazing. From the back, they look almost identical. He's a little bit taller, but not much.
Be glad he got hair. At this point in my life, I'd just be glad if I had some.
Me too. It fell down in my bag. I didn't have that in my youth, but now I do, so I know where it is.
Oh, well.
I still got it, just not where I want it.
I don't have. I mean, it's gone. Mine's gone.
I started losing my hair in my early 20s.
So I was at a CVS going to law school. And I look, I'm like, man, that guy sure is going bald. And I move, I'm like, oh, dang, that's me. Yes.
That mirror up here like this to watch for shopping.
And we can see the back. Man, that guy sure ain't got no hair. I move a little bit, I'm like, oh.
I'm glad that's not me.
And it's only gotten worse and worse. And he gets some of the shoe polish just kind of put back there. So.
Yeah, the hairspray.
Tattoo your head with black so it always looks like you have some on there.
Might as well at this point.
Man, I don't know, it's starting to hurt on the top that's standing out.
No, yours is fine.
It's because I comb it this way, you can't really tell. But if I go back, you just see nothing but scalp.
I'm in Japan coming out of the what's that thing called? It's one of our stores. The commissary though, because commissaries usually food. But it was a store on the outpost on the base. It was on Japan, Yokosuka. And I'm walking down the steps, and all of a sudden all I hear is, "Oh my God, Bo, you're going bald!" There's a guy behind me. He was an AO. His name was Jason. And shouted out for everybody here. I didn't think much of it. Of course, that night I checked it, and he was right. Big old goose egg right back here. I just never noticed.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing is you don't, if it's in the back, you just don't see it. It don't bother you as bad because it's in the back.
So at that point, I just started shaving it. I embraced it.
I'm not far behind you.
It's easier. When I wake up, I have to brush my beard, but not my head.
Well, then it transitioned from up top to down low. Yeah, up top to the sides.
It's a different brush, sure. Getting older is not for the weak.
Oh, did I get this thing working? I think I actually got the thing working finally. I forgot how to do it. Now I just remembered. I got it all on the. I got it on the Twitter going. I'll do some wild stuff. I got the Twitter going. I do got the Twitter going. Yay! We're on Twitter. We're on Twitter and Twitch and Periscope and all of them.
It's funny, you could be pulling my leg and I wouldn't know. I've heard of Twitter, but I'm not very technological savvy. I'm a lot part of it, Jason. I wouldn't even have a Facebook if it wasn't for my life and stuff.
Well, you own a firm. You got to kind of.
I'm trying.
What is it, about 6 minutes out?
Yeah.
5 minutes? Okay, I don't want to. You know, I'm bad at knowing stuff.
I have two main attorneys that are partners. And one of them was ARPA, but it's nice and sweet. Says, "Good luck, bro." The other one says, "Yeah, I've always said you got a face for radio. You'll do great."
That's the joke. You got a face for radio. They always tell me that too.
What a face for radio.
Yeah. Kind of insult, actually, but okay.
It really is. We on? Everybody there? Make sure y'all. Well, not us. You got false alarm now. Make sure y'all tune in 9:50 a.m. on your radio dials, or you can always go to the iHeartRadio app and look for 950 KPRC. Check in. Make sure you listen to The Eric Dick Show. We're starting about top of the hour right now, so after the commercials, you will see us on. What's up, Steve? What's up, man? And as always, today's program sponsored by Topo Chico Aqua Mineral Water.
The unpaid sponsor.
As well as Bragg's Naturally Organic Apple Cider Vinegar All Natural Drink. This is the limeade flavor today. It has a little more tartness to there, but it's really good for you. Really helps with your liver. Make sure you get that Bragg's All Natural Apple Cider Vinegar.
Does it really help with your
liver? Hey, Shelly. How y'all doing? Hey, yeah, we're going to talk about voting today. Make sure you get out there. We're going to talk about that and a whole lot of other things today. Real fun show. But as always, call in 713-212-5950, 713-212-5950. Numbers up in the link or the description. But yeah, if you haven't voted, today is a day to vote. You have all day to get out there. Wait in the line, whether it's short, it's long, it's going to be worth it. I'm supposed to say it doesn't matter who you vote for as long as you vote, but it does matter who you vote for. So get out there and vote for the right people. Make sure you vet the candidates and don't just listen to a bunch of nonsense and bullet points and hype. Yes or no for firefighters. Look, I'm torn on the firefighters. Firefighters kind of get what they deserve because they always support the wrong candidates.
That's
but
true.
At the same time, if we don't vote yes for Prop B, we're never going to force the city to go in there and control their spending. So
you got to vote for Prop B.
Yeah, I'd say vote for Prop B just because it forced the city to actually rein in their spending, so they stop spending hundreds of millions of dollars on art projects, man. Go back to the basic city services, which the city's supposed to be about.
Well, not only that, what happens if we stroke out? If we stroke out, I want the firefighters there.
That's true.
Pull me on the EMS. I don't want them having to work a second job over at Chick-fil-A.
Firefighters just don't put out fires. They also are there for EMT, EMS services. If you're stroking out, you're having a hard time, you got an accident, they're usually right there first on the scene to assess the situation. So vote for Prop B.
My dad's retired firefighter too.
It's a tough one to say to vote for, but again,
was at 72.
Vote for Prop B today. Vote for Prop B.
You never return it.
Oh, special guest we have today is Bo Bowen, attorney and Ninja Warrior. We'll get to that later. But again, y'all tune in. Again, if you have any questions, put them on here. I'll read them and we'll try to address them through the breaks or through if you want to call in, again, 713-212-5950. Turn down for what?
I'm going to turn up the monitor, sorry. Do you have a studio monitor?
We do have a studio monitor. It's over here.
Right. Maybe she got it on quiet. Oh, I'm sorry.
Ask Shannon.
What am I doing? She looks like I'm in trouble already, folks. She gave me the stink eye.
You have a call already?
No, I hope I don't got a call already.
Voter Day in Clear Lake. Let's see.
Tell me, Eric, you better be quiet. You're going to say some stupid stuff.
My sister's
free hot dogs. So if you're in the Clear Lake area today, y'all make sure y'all swing by the Clear Lake area tailgate party.
Shout out.
Shelly Rogers, where's that located? Where can they go for that tailgate party?
She also works for me.
My sister works for me too, man. Small business.
She just completed a paralegal school. So for her, it's a big deal. I'm very proud of her.
Oh,
She turned herself around, finally settling down, growing up. We mature slowly.
But you mature.
Eventually, I hear that wave right there. Man, I'm getting a cowlick right here.
So, you might want to look into the criminal. So what happens with the PI, some of the big PI firms, they'll refer after a settlement is like a big hit, then they'll refer them to another lawyer.
And if you haven't voted yet, drop me a message or drop me a line down here, post in this video. Why haven't you voted? What is the hesitancy? What issues are you having deciding between? Maybe I can help you come to a conclusion as to why you feel comfortable going to vote sometime soon. All right, so if you're in the Clear Lake area, Freedman Library, they're having a tailgate party out there. Hot dogs, probably some beverages, water, and great company. And you can do that all while you're voting. So make sure y'all go down to Freedman Library.
You do it after they get a big settlement.
Yes.
Use the settlement
to fund me. Get the full retainer.
There you go.
Also, we'll talk about this in a minute, but if you have nothing going on right now, you can head over to 3314 Lyons Avenue. Phil Paul Bookstore just opened. Hundreds of thousands of books for $2 and $4. Legal books, medical books, all kinds of books. Go check it out. Phil Paul's always doing things for the community, and now he's opened up a bookstore over in Fifth Ward, and I went by there earlier, and so make sure y'all check that out as
Very
well.
much in the influence of emotion versus just the facts. People make a decision based on.
Now, if there's any topics y'all want to hear myself, Eric, Dick, and Bo Bowen discuss today, drop those in there too. We'll try to fit it in. It's a 30-minute show, then we got to cut to the U of H game, but here we go.
Oh no, they're gonna make us go in the air, folks.
After traffic should come here shortly. You know, they've never heard the intro, I don't think. On the live feed?
What do we have on?
Well, when I go on Facebook Live. Because we don't have the monitor going when the intro plays. Yeah, so they'll hear it. You know.
I can turn the monitor on, but I don't hear it in here. It'll kick on in a minute. The audio will kick on.
I want y'all to hear the intro because y'all never heard the intro.
Yeah, the intro is pretty funny.
Okay, we'll talk about the caravan of immigrants. You do immigration law, right?
What, no, sir. No immigration.
I thought you did every color law, man.
Not total, almost, but not quite.
If they bring cash, he might.
That's true.
It's true.
Yeah.
For enough money, I'll learn it quickly.
For retainers, we might make an exception.
When you've got big problems, you need to have a big you need Eric Dick,
Oh, my
homeowner,
goodness.
insurance lawyer, and trustee for the Harris County Department of Education.
That's good.
I can't believe that they actually play that on radio. They sit there and they say you need a big Eric Dick.
Hey,
Huh.
it's true. I mean, do you not need someone who's always going to fight in your corner when you're faced with these legal problems?
Absolutely. And that, if you want to get ran over, you don't get an attorney. I mean, even I get an attorney whenever I have a legal problem. No joke. I get traffic tickets. I call the kubosh. I put a kubosh on it.
There you go. Because when you're facing problems, especially homeowners, when you're facing problems with the big insurance companies, there's only one person you need to call, and that's Houston homeowners attorney, insurance lawyer, Eric B. Dick. Welcome to the Eric B. Dick Show. My name is Chris Carmona, joined by Eric B. Dick, and our special guest today is Bo Bowen. Eric,
What up?
there's a lot to talk about today.
There is a lot of juicy stuff. Let's just kind of go into it because we don't have much time. We're getting kicked off a little bit for the U of H show. But right off the bat, let's talk about Prop B with the firefighters. My dad was a firefighter, strongly support the firefighters. In fact, I find it interesting the only people opposing the firefighters are Mayor Turner and big business. Everybody else, you have the Kingwood Tea Party, you have Terry Lowry, you have Gary Pollan, you have just the grassroots Republicans, you have the grassroots Democrats, you have independents, all saying,
And that's
we need to
important
take
to
care of
notice.
the
Is
firefighters.
you said the grassroots because the grassroots political activists in the city or in the county, they understand what being responsible with your money is. And if people ask me all the time, I know they've asked you, should they vote yes or no on Prop B? And I think we're in agreement that in order to have the city rein in their spending, there's only one way to go on Prop B, and that's vote yes for Prop B.
Yeah, and see, the thing is, every time I've ran for city council, mayor, when I got 11% more than Adrian Garcia and Chris Bell, I did really good, surprisingly. But whenever I ran, it was on a very simple platform, the same platform Rob Mossbecker ran on, the same platform Orlando Sanchez, the same platform Bill King ran on. And that's bring spending to the basics. Public safety, infrastructure, your basic city services. Those are the things you want to spend money on. What you don't want to spend money on is like art projects and those type of things. You don't want to spend it unless you have extra money. But you got to focus on the necessities. Do a good job at it. You know, make sure we have adequate firefighters and police officers, adequate police officers. Make sure our streets are fixed. Those are the things that we have to do as a city, and those are the things we don't necessarily do right. And what this prop does is it forces the city to pay more money to focus more of its resources on public safety, what it should have already been doing in the first place. It's a very good proposition, and the city cannot raise taxes. It's like you get your cake and you can eat it too.
And that's the best part. If you can't raise taxes. Pay parity is brought into effect because the firefighters in the city of Houston are making less than across the nation for the same type of market, correct?
Yeah, firefighters, they start off making $27,000 a year. And I just, what I'm always worried about, what I always joke about is if I'm stroking out, I don't want the poor firefighters, they're sleepy because they had to work at Chick-fil-A the day before. And those are serious concerns. Bo, your dad was a firefighter. What do you think?
I have to agree with you. If you want to support the firefighters, you need to support Proposition B.
It's just plain and simple.
Plain and simple. And, one of the things that by supporting this and reining in the city spending, some of the programs that may be cut out.
Hi, this is Eric Dick, and I think it's important that you know your rights. If your homeowner's insurance company has denied or underpaid your claim, you have the right to hire an attorney. You have the right to call me for a free consultation at 833-7-RIGHTS. That's 833-7-RIGHTS. Don't let your homeowner's insurance company take advantage of you. Call me today at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Has your homeowner's insurance claim been denied or underpaid? Call Dick Law Firm at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Feeding rocks. It should not be a crime to feed the homeless. Feeding rocks. A good Samaritan shouldn't be punished for acts of kindness. Feeding rocks. Because it's more of a crime to turn your back on a starving person. Feeding rocks. You shouldn't go to jail for sharing food. Feeding rocks. You can't in good conscience let a hungry person starve. Feeding rocks. Help us legalize charity. Go online and sign the petition. www.feeding.rocks. Feeding Rocks.
Is additional funding being sent to the City of Houston Public Libraries for unnecessary services they're rendering.
That's true.
Let's talk about one of the things that's being controversial right now, and that's of the drag queen hour at some of the city libraries.
Sure. So, just kind of a way of background. I'm not against per se the idea of a drag queen hour. I think it's kind of funny. My thought is, why are we doing it necessarily? Why are we using public money for this? And they're saying, no, there's no real public money with it, but there kind of is. The library's kind of advertising it. They're kind of promoting it. They're spending their resources pushing this. And then it kind of gets interesting because you have secular humanism versus non-secular humanism. And these are complicated mumbo-jumbo words.
They sound like it.
They are. Basically, it's the idea that it's like Christian viewpoints of believing marriage is a man and a woman, that being the idea of a religion, and then non-Christian viewpoints. And the point that you can have these non-Christian viewpoints there pushing this agenda at the library and not be able to have the counterpart there. That's where it's not fair, and that's where I kind of have a problem with it. I think that if people could go there and say, look, marriage is between a man and a woman, this is what we believe, then it kind of evens the playing field. But there's another thing that really kind of makes me cringe is I have two small kiddos, and that's not really something I want to introduce them to if we were going to the library to get books and stuff like that. We kind of want to avoid it at that point. I don't really want to start having to explain to my daughters why this guy's dressed up like a girl.
Now, what do you say to the proponents of this hour to say, you choose to go to the public library, and you could always say, for this hour, I'm not going to go there. Should you have to rearrange your schedule to fit into the City of Houston's agenda as it relates to the drag queen story hour?
I just don't think I don't think it's really fair. And I don't think you should have to look at, the schedule whenever you just want to go to a public place and, learn, teach bring your kids to, the library. I'm fine with it being in a private place. In fact, I'd probably go. I think it's at minimum entertaining. I think it really is entertaining. And I think, it brings, I can see the diversity argument,
Because the mayor has made a diversity argument saying we have a very diverse city. This is just reflective of our culture. This is reflective of our city. And he sees no problem with it, thinks that it's a frivolous lawsuit, is going to get thrown out.
Well, but the city gets sued a lot of times for what they would consider frivolous stuff, like criminalizing feeding the homeless,
that's
all
true.
sorts of stuff. Bo, what do you think? What do you think?
I never really thought about it the way you put it today, Dick. You're right. I didn't think about my kids being there. When I first heard of it, I was like, yeah, it's kind of humorous. It's a neat approach. I don't really understand why this lawsuit even started, in my humble opinion. As I understand it, they weren't letting someone else go, and that's what the argument's about. Or was it simply because of the fact that they have the, what was the title you used?
It's secular humanism.
Secular humanism, yeah.
Yeah, and so apparently the impetus of this was that the same type of for a traditional marriage couple to go in there and have a story time was denied when the drag queen hour was actually given a clearance to go ahead. And so,
And this is some really juicy stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to get right back in it.
we
And
good
talk
because there
about
are some
this.
alternatives to a public library. We'll talk about that when we come back from break as well.
We'll be back. Eric Dick Show. Thanks, folks.
Roseanne, exactly. That's what we've been saying. Roseanne, exactly. That's the thing, is that equal time isn't being given to all types of diversity. Since a diverse city, even traditional married couples, if they want to go in there, they're being denied. So that's why the lawsuit was initiated. So it's not really a thing about against drag queen story hour. It's more of the equal application of the City of Houston Library rules. So, but going back to your point on the EMS, yeah, I mean the firefighters do provide emergency medical treatment,
And also, hey,
emergency
we got a
medical
good,
services.
we got a good group.
So they're tied into that somehow. Now, should there be a specific EMT team? Most counties, I think they do have that, but City of Houston firefighters are part of EMT.
Very much so.
Yeah.
First responders.
Yeah. So
We're doing a lot more than the firefighters. The ambulance people should pay because of that.
yeah. When the city they make money off the ambulance. Because remember, they trained about 2010 or 11, they jumped the ambulance fee. So if you had to actually get a fee to get up there to come service you for a reason, I mean, they went from I think $250 to like $500 or $600.
And they make their money.
Yeah.
One of the few claims you can't negotiate with quick inventory.
That's right. I'll tell you what's kind of effed up the most is now you have like the police officers on one side fighting with the firefighters, and you shouldn't.
Guns and hoses have always been at each other.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't be at each other's throat. I don't think that they haven't been like this, because there's been plenty of times where I've heard firefighters like they get in trouble and police officers like, you guys are just dumb, just move on, and that type of stuff, which it shouldn't really be happening. But my point is that those organizations have historically got along.
They have, but now they're forced to be put against each other. But here's the thing, man: the firefighters have typically always gone with liberal candidates.
So has the police officers.
The police officers more of a more conservative scorecard. I'm not saying it's a very conservative scorecard.
You're right,
But
I'm not saying they
overall,
they
the firefighters and the firefighter union,
they did think they're brave.
they have entrusted a lot
I know
to this
they have.
mayor, to this city council. So
They spend a lot of energy. Getting
that's
this
why it's
right.
like the sympathy level is not really all there. But
I
so how does the fire department transfer you to the hospital if you need emergency care? They come out there with ambulances. The Houston Fire Department has ambulances. They don't just have fire trucks. They actually have ambulances.
And rescue trucks.
Yeah,
And special,
trucks.
their own special kind of welfare departments where people are doing high-rise rescues and stuff.
Yeah, they don't just put you on a ladder and say, "All right, come on, we'll take you to the hospital." Although that would be entertaining to see and watch.
Are they sprayed out with the hose a
Yeah.
little bit? You
I
thirsty?
see blood. Let's spray it down.
And that, it's washed it off. You're good. Oh man.
What's redundant? What part is having a firefighter? The fire department is not needed. Well, who's going to put out the fires?
We definitely need the fire department. Oh.
They do multiple things.
How do you not need the fire department? I don't get it. I don't get it, Chris. How do you not need the fire department?
I don't know. I guess the fire department can only do fires and should not be in the business of medical necessities or medical attention.
Then what do you do when you stroke out? You better get Sarah jumping in the car, driving you to the hospital. You stroking out. Don't call 911. They don't care.
Or you go to private industry and private entities for your emergency medical needs. I don't know. But if y'all have any type of suggestion or input on that, 713-212-5950. Dick, when we left off, we were talking about the City of Houston and their libraries. And it's going to be interesting to see how this lawsuit plays out. But if people don't feel comfortable going to the library now, they want to read some books, where can they go today that's having their grand opening?
Philip Paul Bryant's bookstore, PPB. Philip blows me away with his level of enterprise.
That guy, he has so many different businesses, and they're all fascinating businesses. He has his bookstore that's just opening, and books are just dirt cheap, and it's a great chance. This is like kind of like a little hidden gem that you want to support, because you can go get books $2-3 that you normally would pay $5, $6, $10 somewhere else.
There's some $20 books. I was there earlier. Again, it's 3314 Lyons Avenue. It's called Phil Paul Books. Great opening today. They have kids' books for $2, over 15,000 books for under $4. And if you want a great opportunity to get some books for real cheap and support the community at the same time, check that place out.
Philip does a lot of cool stuff. He does the backpack to Fifth Ward every year, where you have a lot of great family law judges that are up for re-election, like your Sherry Dean, all those folks.
Alicia Franklin.
Right
there. James Lamborghino. And that's the thing. Voting is taking place right now. If you have not voted, you still have this weekend and as well as next week in the Friday at 7 p.m. to go out and early vote in Harris County. There's rumors there's a lot of irregularities going on this year, and it's more or less people are saying, you know what are you going to do about it? I'm going in. I don't care if I have ID. I don't care if somebody's helping me vote. What are you going to do to stop me? What are they going to do to stop irregular voting and voter fraud?
Not look at the party because there's too much corruption. I mean, one thing I wanted to talk about, because there's this Fast and Furious show here, is I saw HRBC's endorsements, and I'm just appalled. This organization, who the chairman is the financial chair of the Harris County Republican Party, it's endorsing Democrats, and not only is it endorsing Democrats, it's kind of a sexist organization. This is a big business organization. They're refusing to endorse Erin Swanson, who's this young gal. She ousted a corrupt incumbent, Teresa Chang, who's just an incompetent judge. And they're so mad at her for doing that. And they're mad that she's a young, attractive woman. They are not endorsing her. And what I find just so appalling is I'm convinced that if she was a man, they would endorse her. But for her being a female, being a young female, they aren't endorsing her. They think, this is what I feel, is they think that because she's a woman, she's not capable to be a judge at that age. And it's just wrong.
So this is another instance of another conservative, quote unquote, conservative group endorsing Democrats, kind of in line with what Ed Emmett has done before, correct?
Well, it's much worse than this, because these are people that are in power in the local Republican Party. And there's a lot of this is just big business, just buying stuff. When they cry about pay for play, and Terry Lowry, who's not pay for play, by the way, they cry about that. Big business does it all the time. They pour hundreds of thousands of dollars. I remember there was a chairman race with the local Republican Party. They spent $500,000. And the person that ran against their incumbent spent $5,000. Barely lost that race. Just barely lost.
Too much money being wasted right there in local politics. But again, if y'all haven't voted yet, get out there. Vote. Voting is important. Elections matter. So vote early, vote often.
Let's go to our guest.
Yeah, today's guest speaker we have today in the studio is Houston local attorney Bo Bowen.
Yes, sir. Hi. Thank you all for having me.
And so, Bo, interesting background you have. You are former military.
Yes, sir. Navy.
And then currently you are in the process of training to become an American Ninja Warrior.
Which is awesome. You're American Ninja Lawyer.
Yeah, and that should be your new marketing gimmick right there. You can pay Dick the residuals on that. But what does a lawyer, someone who you have two daughters, right?
Yes, sir. 8 and 3. Edwin and Karis. Hey, girls.
There you go. Hope they're listening. So a full-time dad, full-time attorney. How do you make time, and why would you want to make time to become the next American Ninja Warrior?
For me, it's mainly getting the time with my family. Me and my daughters have daughter date nights up there at Iron Sports Gym off of 1916 Cutting Road, which is where all the top ninjas train here in Houston. There's nothing better than having your daughters tied off to you, hanging from the ceiling. You're the one letting them down. You're the belay man. That trust, that bonding, you can't get anywhere else.
Hey, so can you do ninja rolls, like true ninja rolls, where you back it up and then just do a backflip, front flip?
I can now do a forward roll and not a backflip just yet. I'm still mastering the lachey. That's where you take your body and you throw yourself forward and you catch things. I'm still at the very, very basic levels. I'm no Daniel Gill yet.
And Daniel Gill's a local legend, right?
Yes, sir. He is by far the #1 competitor right now for these Americans in Ninja Warrior.
Okay,
he trains at the same gym.
It's just amazing that you have this family lawyer by day, American Ninja by night. And it's really
like
awesome.
A superhero.
It is a superhero. It's a crime fighter. And during the day, he's helping people out, with their will, fights.
Fight over property, fight over division of the kids. I mean, property, everything. So if you're not fighting corruption in the courtroom, you're not fighting against the people outside of the courtroom. You're probably in your office taking in clients, right?
Yes, sir. A lot of client consultation.
So what is the biggest thing you're seeing, at least in the family law arena, of other than divorces? Like, what are people facing right now in the community? What's ailing them, and why are they coming to see you?
Well, the majority of our comes because unfortunately, the family is broken down. The husband and wife relationship has fallen to the wayside. The more problem I see is they're waiting too long to seek an attorney. They're trying to do it themselves. They get the paperwork offline. Then they waste all that time to initiate it. They have to pay us to fix everything, and then the process takes that much longer. And of course, through that period of time, they're fighting more, they're losing more instead of trying to work together. It's best to come in sometimes, rip that Band-Aid off, and then learn how to co-parent. That squabbling in between is what really causes those relationships to fail. And I'm talking about the children. They're the ones that suffer this whole time.
It also causes resentment and, people just fighting over all that time. On the flip side, isn't someone having a wedding today? Or
that is correct. My baby sister's having her wedding shower today. Her name is Joanna Bowen, soon to be Joanna Sanders. She finally found the man of her dreams. You know who I'm talking to, Marty. You're a lucky man. And I hope they're listening. I love you.
Melissa
Love you.
Yeah, Melissa Smith's getting married too at the board that I'm at. Congratulations, Melissa. So if people wanted to contact your law firm, how would they do that, Bo?
The best way to reach us is 713-574-7777. That main line again is 713-574-7777. You can also find us on the web at www.bowen, BOWENLF, as in lawfirm.com.
Now, Bo, I always try to throw out questions for our guests, legal questions that are out of the ordinary. Let me take this one to you. So you have a couple that have been together for about 5 to 7 years, right? But each one is currently married to someone else, but those spouses are somewhere else, right? So over this 5 or 7 years, they've acquired a purchase of a home. They've been living in that home. They break up, but they can't do anything about that, or can they, since they're still technically married to other people? What's the remedy on that? How does someone not get kicked out of the house? How do they fight over the house? Who stays in the house? What do you think, Bo?
So making sure we have 2 people who are married, and then they break up and they get with other people and they buy new property?
Yes.
Okay, well, unfortunately in Texas, you can't do more than one marriage. It's called bigamy. So you can't have a new marriage until the first one is ended. So if you're then buying property together as a married couple to someone else, that property is still considered community property. So they would have every half, and the other side would then have half, meaning their spouse they're currently married to. Because as soon as you buy anything when you're married, again, after the marriage date, whether you leave them, there's no legal separation in Texas.
And Chris is taking notes here because actually those people came to his office yesterday.
They called me yesterday. I'm trying to get a good answer for them. But the thing is, and that's the thing is, so now, whether you wanted to or not, if this was a secret affair for 5 or 7 years, are they going to have to now bring in those spouses they were keeping secret to try to finally get rid of this property?
Yes, sir, especially their names on it. It's going to make it difficult. I encourage you to get them all together, reach inside a sort of settlement, see what everyone wants. I'm trying to get them to work together. Otherwise, this is going to be in court for me.
So, hi, this is Eric Dick, and I think it's important that you know your rights. If your homeowner's insurance company has denied or underpaid your claim, you have the right to hire an attorney. You have the right to call me for free consultation at 833-7-RIGHTS. That's 833-7-RIGHTS. Don't let your homeowner's insurance company take advantage of you. Call me today at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Has your homeowner's insurance claim been denied or underpaid? Call Dick Law Firm at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Feeding rocks. It should not be a crime to feed the homeless. Feeding rocks. A good Samaritan shouldn't be punished for acts of kindness. Feeding rocks. Because it's more of a crime to turn your back on a starving person. Feeding rocks. You shouldn't go to jail for sharing food. Feeding rocks. You can't in good conscience let a hungry person starve. Feeding rocks. Help us legalize charity. Go online and sign the petition. www.feeding.rocks. Feeding rocks.
And also, is it a formal marriage or is it a common law marriage? Because, common law is a little bit interesting than it is in a formal marriage.
Well, common law or informal marriages, as it's lined out in statute, the number one thing you have to look at is, was there an agreement between the parties? If the parties had an agreement to be married, we're done. they're going to say it and move on.
But isn't there a statute of limitations, or is there some type of after some point in time with the common law marriage, is it not presumed, or is there some type of
No, so you can be together for 100 years, together for 2 years. It really depends on the parties themselves and the totality of the circumstances. Number one being the agreement amongst the parties to be married.
And then they have to also do something to show the agreement, usually like a ring or something like that.
Hold themselves out is another big one. That they file income tax together and hold themselves as married to a government agency. That's a good indication they were married. How they introduce themselves to other parties as well. And they're at the supermarket, hey, this is my wife, Allison. They just held themselves out as being a married couple. If the wife doesn't say anything, you should be assuming they're married, and so are everyone else, including the court.
And so if they want to go ahead and wind down that marriage, even though it's considered common law, they still have to go through the formal process of a divorce at that point, right?
Correct, yes, sir.
And if they go to the divorce and they go through mediation and they get an MSA, a mediated settlement agreement,
Yes, sir.
is that full and final in the state of Texas?
Yes, sir. I went to In Re Stephanie, the case all you want to read with that. It has made mediations powerful. It is irrevocable once it's signed. And in fact, another good Republican judge, Judge Farr, he got overruled on the case Minks versus Minks, where the parties themselves came up to the bench and both of them wanted to revocate or reject the MSA. Court of Appeal said, no, you're stuck with it. Enforce it.
Wow.
Well, there you are.
That's tough.
Be careful when you go to mediation, and don't try to back out. Be serious.
And if you go through mediation for any type of homeowners claims and it's unsuccessful, or if you go through the appraisal process and it's unsuccessful, or you go through arbitration and it's not binding, well, you can always hire a Dick. That's Eric B. Dick. Texas and Houston's homeowners insurance attorney. Eric, how's it going over in the insurance field right now? Any cases coming up?
Oh, there's a lot of cases, man. I've represented a whole ton of people from Hurricane Harvey, and what I've been shocked with is the majority of the people I've represented, they've been underpaid. And when I say the majority, like I've represented thousands of people, and it's just sad seeing, how the level of people have been underpaid. Some of them have been underpaid like $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. So I do everything I can to get them paid right. Folks, this has been a good time. I'm going to have to see you next week. They're cutting me off. They're saying no more free advice. Eric, you've given out too much free legal advice. No more. Cut it off.
It's because Eric Dick will protect you in the fight against homeowners insurance or any type of insurance company. Make sure you call Eric B. Dick at the Dick Law Firm. Thanks to our guest, Bo Bowen. Thanks, producer Shannon. I'm Chris Carmona. Eric Dick, take us away.
Thanks, folks. See you next week. Thank you, producer Shannon. Bye-bye, folks. We're gone. Thanks, guys, for listening. We're gone. Hope I didn't get in too much trouble.
Roseanne, thanks for the great contribution.
Hope I didn't get in too much trouble, folks. You have a good one.
Thanks for your contribution as well. Shelley Rogers, thank you for your contribution again.
Hi, this is Eric Dick, and I think it's important that you know your rights. If your homeowner's insurance company has denied or underpaid your claim, you have the right to hire an attorney. You have the right to call me for free consultation at 833-7-RIGHTS. That's 833-7-RIGHTS. Don't let your homeowner's insurance company take advantage of you. Call me today at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Has your homeowner's insurance claim been denied or underpaid? Call Dick Law Firm at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Feeding rocks. It should not be a crime to feed the homeless. Feeding rocks. A good Samaritan shouldn't be punished for acts of kindness. Feeding rocks. Because it's more of a crime to turn your back on a starving person. Feeding rocks. You shouldn't go to jail for sharing food. Feeding rocks. You can't in good conscience let a hungry person starve. Feeding rocks. Help us legalize charity. Go online and sign the petition. www.feeding.rocks. Feeding rocks.
Listen now by going to FoxNewsPodcasts.com. Tucker Carlson. So much barking and noise and yelling. Our role is to take 3 steps back and discern what really matters. Sean Hannity. The most important thing that we are looking out for the forgotten men and women in this country. They're going to get straight.
If y'all can't sit here all day online, make sure y'all go onto the iHeartRadio media app, KPRC 950, or just tune into your radio, 950 AM. A lot of good stuff today. A lot of good stuff. But it's only 30 minutes, so make sure y'all tune in. If you're going to get some calls in, 713-212-5950.
cities assure from discriminating against or denying coverage to Americans with pre-existing conditions. The GOP spent 8 years presenting to repeal the law, even forcing a government shutdown.
Hey, Karen. Hey, little Tim.
A California college ready to shell out hundreds of millions of dollars to settle lawsuits.
The University of Southern California says it'll pay out $215 million to settle claims of sexual abuse by a school gynecologist. That settlement would compensate individuals.
And as always, today's segment brought to you by Bragg's Organic Apple Cider Vinegar, all natural drink. And we got the right one today, apple cinnamon. Dick, where's your Topo Chico?
I got a little Topo Chico right here.
You got it? Let's make sure you got it. Got it?
I got a Topo Chico.
David, what are you drinking, man?
Starbucks.
Ah, come on, man.
I know,
It's a Frappuccino.
Yeah.
He's got the Frappuccino. He's frapping it. Oh, man. What a rush. Sorry, Shannon. We were rushing.
Shannon, you get a car. We didn't get me a badge.
Yeah. Barely did it. Okay.
7,000 members of the 2nd Marine Expeditionary Force are believed to
Hey, y'all.
as Hurricane Florence closed in last month.
Oh, it's going to be a juicy show. It's going to be a short show, but it's going to be juicy.
30 minutes, huh?
Yeah.
So we have one break around 14 to 18 again. And the 27, 26 cars don't pick us up.
So we're going to go into, what do you want to talk about?
Oh, first let's start about, there's a new suit. Well, first let's talk attack him again.
And I'm Joe.
Attack him.
Oh, yeah. I could
attack him. And then we'll talk about the suit against the city for the
largest gun show in the country. Is over
the drag queen show.
Yeah. They're going to watch out. They might get in trouble on that. For anti-slam. How are you going to get around anti-slam with that?
Good afternoon. Watch out for an accident on the North Freeway northbound and the North Loop. This has 2 left lanes blocked.
I haven't seen the pleadings.
Some good news, that accident we had on the North Freeway southbound equipment has been cleared. Traffic is unwinding in that area, adding about 30 minutes to your commute. I'm Eunice Garcia, the 24-hour traffic center.
Okay, cool.
Scanned pizzas count for a limited time.
And then we'll
talk about Sylvia some more.
Yeah, we do need to talk about Sylvia though. We got the rest of the affidavit, and we can talk about the Chronicles hypocrisy because they endorsed her after being one of the lead publications on this Me Too and Kavanaugh stuff.
Go to Danny and his practice.
Take a break.
After the first break, we're going down.
After the first break, we're going to you with the about immigration law and how it ties in and stuff like that.
KPRC.
We'll make it fit.
Opinions provided on the Eric Dick Show are for information.
They've never heard the intro on Facebook streaming.
All right, folks, we're back to a spicy show here today. It's going to be Fast and Furious Eric Dick Show with my co-host and wingman, Chris Carmona. And
hello, good weekend, everyone.
It is going to be a great show. Okay, we had a lot happen this week. We had, Touchy Sylvia. We got the rest of her affidavit where, she's talking about some rash she has, and she has a clerk, which she's a municipal judge, and she, starts telling the clerk, hey, I got this rash on my leg. You want to see it? And the clerk's like, well, no, not really, Sylvia. I don't know that many people want to see it, but no, I'm good.
And she was good. And that's the thing. I mean, when we left off last week, we had limited information on this affidavit, but we have procured the remainder of the affidavit, and it just gets even worse. I mean, there was trips to Nashville where she was just taking advantage of her allegedly aggressively inside this hotel room. And, this is a legal talk show, and we talk about legal standards and how that impacts the community. Well, I remember a couple of weeks ago, the Houston Chronicle made it a point to make sure that our Supreme Court of the United States candidate, now Justice Kavanaugh, was put through this ringer and even made a point to publish different opinions and editorials where it said that, if you're accused of these things, you're not fit for these types of positions. So with Sylvia being accused of these types of allegations, it's surprising that they came out and endorsed her this week. What's going on?
Well, it's a quote, Erica Grinder from the Houston Chronicle. It's dead and irrelevant, and no one cares. And that's actually from a reporter. So what's interesting with the whole Kavanaugh thing is you had a woman, and she was sincere. I know there's people that have different opinions, but she seems sincere that something happened to her. Maybe we aren't sure what happened, but something happened, and she seems sincere about it. Just as the level of sincerity in that affidavit. I mean, and they go into a lot of detail.
And it's pretty
folks.
detailed. I mean, these aren't things that have been sitting on and no one's come forward. Apparently, Ms. Gutierrez had actually made these complaints before, but it fell on deaf ears. And that's a problem I see with the city of Houston, is that they pick and choose who they actually want to move forward with these types of allegations. And I think that's something that falls back into the city council and also the mayor, because we have to stop that culture of siding with some, whether it's political or not, or it's just friendships. If these allegations are being thrown out there, you got to act on those. I mean, if not, you open yourself to all types of liability in the employment field, right?
Yeah, you're right. And didn't if I remember right, reading that affidavit, didn't one of her staffers kind of walk in and go, whoa, I don't want to see this, turn around beeline right out,
open the door, unlocked it, and said, whoa, made a U-turn and got back out of there. I mean, so there's been witnesses to these allegations or to these events, and I'm just shocked and appalled that for the Houston Chronicle to come out and say, we're going to lead the movement and making sure that people have a voice and people who have these allegations, they're going to be heard, to come out with no hesitation and endorse against Philip Arnoff in the congressional race in CD 29 over in the east side of Harris County.
Or they could have just done no endorsement. And they could have just they could have said, well, look, we're going to be the bigger person. These allegations with Sylvia, they're pretty sincere. And just so the listeners know, this is, the former county commissioner, former state senator, Sylvia Garcia. What she did is she took off her, allegedly, which is probably not very alleged, but anyway, she took off her pants, said, hey, I got a rash to one of her clerks, ran around in her panties. Another one of her staffers kind of came in and kind of was freaked out and beelined out of there and just completely harassed this poor girl. I mean, if I did this type of stuff at my business or even at the Department of Education, it'd be all over the news.
Oh, it would be. It would be lawsuits left and right, all over the news. Every single media publication in the city would be covering that. And again, I'm just shocked at that. And, I hope that, people put politics aside, because, again, this has a lot more weight in this story with specific details than we saw with Kavanaugh. And I hope the Democrats actually hold Sylvia Garcia accountable. And there may be some infighting that results from this, with early voting starting on Monday. And so we'll just have to see on that. But with infighting also comes another person we need to talk about. The turmoil hasn't stopped with our county judge.
Oh, hunker down?
Hunker down. Last week he had came out and endorsed the Democrat candidate for lieutenant governor, and there was some minor backlash from some of the candidates down ballot in Harris County, the Republican candidates. And there hasn't been any backtrack. If anything, it's been a double down on the statement of saying, I said what I said and I meant what I said. How's that going to affect everybody? How's that going to affect the courthouses? Because, in 2008, we saw a huge wipeout. 2012, we saw it again, a wipeout. 16, another one, sweep every 4 years.
Ed Emmett is just kind of the reaction. It's really the fault of the local party, the complete mismanagement by the local Harris County Republican Party, and the arrogance of Ted Cruz. And you got to realize that Beto is the result of just utter arrogance of Ted Cruz being just elected, runs for president, just ignores everybody. I mean, Beto, he's done a decent job. He's not going to win. I don't think he's going to win. I think it'd be surprising it'd be a shocker. But stranger things have happened. But Beto wouldn't have nearly as much following if Ted Cruz would have done his job. And also been a nice guy. And everyone tells me in the Republican Party that's around him. I mean, some people do like him, and they jump up and down and say, we like him. But there's a surprising amount of people that say he's a jerk. I don't want to be around him.
He's not connected to the people he was when he campaigned first in 2012. He's kind of separated himself with more of an elitist attitude is what I hear. And then I also heard last night that there was a Kingwood Tea Party gathering, candidate rally, and apparently that was the buzz around the room. Is anybody going to hold Ed Emmett accountable for this statement? And is that going to really hurt the down ballot judges? I think it will. I think it will.
I think it'll hurt the judges, but you got to also remember that Lloyd Oliver, he did something similar. Actually, a step back, maybe 4 years ago, whenever he ran for DA, the Democrats just kicked him right off the ballot.
Yeah, and there's been some great articles about that by Charles Blaine and also Kerry Cheshire. They made some mention on this, and they were asking people, hey, what's going to happen here?
Oh, nothing's going to happen because Emmett's tied in with the local party that's incompetent.
Yeah, it is. It is. And more to come on the Eric Dick Show. A shortened segment today. We only have half an hour. We got to get to y'all some sports programming. But y'all sit right there, and we'll be right back.
Thanks, folks. See you shortly. We'll come in, go in with you for probably another 10, 12, then we're going to be done.
Yeah. So what do you feel comfortable talking about? Like what area are you just feel like, man, I know this, I'm dynamic on this, and boom.
Just anything immigration is good. We do all types of immigration. We do business, we do family, we do removal. So anything that you want to talk about in terms of any new changes, like right now there's an instant denial that just started in September.
Okay.
So that means that if you send in a petition, it's wrong, something wrong with it, not all there, so just deny it. And this bad used to, they just refuse it. But denying it is actually
right up here.
bad.
Okay. Then we can talk about this caravan that's coming up and Trump's statement. There's some tough people, and we don't want those tough people coming in. And we can see about, they're coming from Guatemala and Honduras. They're trying to go through Mexico. Mexico's actually trying, they're trying to do their job and secure the border. So we don't want you coming in and filter in. They tore it down and I'll tie into immigration, and then we'll immigration right there. That's how we do it.
I think smoking always affected my daily life because I was a closet smoker.
Roseanne, exactly. Someone like the county chair should have said something, but he didn't. Really, the guy pays them all. I mean, that's Emmett's his major funder.
There's no
him and this guy Weekly, they own him. So what is he gonna say? No, don't do it. But like I said, it's gonna be very, very, very.
We got a good many followers now.
Not want to break straight ticket voting because of his insistence on doing that. So we'll see how it turns out. But early voting starts on Monday. Make sure I go by, vote all the way through from the top to the bottom. A lot of judges on that ballot that really need your support. It's not a smart idea just always hit straight ticket if you don't feel comfortable with all the candidates. Beto, fake Mexican. Is he really a fake Mexican or just using the name to try to trick people? What kind of fires was he putting out? Like what was being said to try to mitigate that damage? I mean, could you really mitigate that? Unless maybe to show some poll numbers, like the current poll shows, even with that statement, we're still up about 15%. Anything like that?
He speaks his mind.
How long do
Like 9.2, but it took
Oh, here we are, folks. If you haven't pulled over and talked to your lawyer, you better do it because we're going to go into some law, and I don't want you guys crying to me because I gave you good advice and you hadn't paid me. So you better go talk to your lawyer before you listen anymore. Okay?
And if they're suffering from any type of home damage, car damage, life insurance issues where the insurance company is just not paying, so they call Dick.
Better get Dick.
Eric Dick.
Better get Eric Dick.
And so when we left off, I mean, again, there's just so much turmoil going on in this world. But one thing I do have to say is today is my daughter's 14th birthday. Happy birthday, Brooklyn.
My mother and sister's birthday.
I was about to say, you have a family of birthdays today, too.
And it's Mark Lanier's birthday.
And Mark Lanier's birthday. So October 20th, mark this down on your calendars, everybody. That's a strong day for birthdays to come out. But other than the birthdays, we have some other exciting news going on in the country, right?
Oh, we have a lot of exciting news, but why don't we start off talking with Danny about his little law practice doing immigration law, and we can kind of tie it into all the many things that are happening in this world.
So today's guest, we have attorney Danny Wynn. Danny, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you for having us. This is David Wynn, by the way.
Oh, sorry, David Wynn. Oh,
it's okay.
So I had it right the first time when I said David.
Yeah, you said it earlier this morning, so yeah, maybe it's too early for you.
Oh, I was thinking of there's a
city council member in Missouri City.
That's right, Danny Wynn. Sorry, David. So you have an immigration practice. You've been practicing law about 10 years, right?
That's right. We're practicing 10 years. We have an office in Southwest Houston and one in Northwest Houston as well.
Excellent. And so there's been some changes lately. And could you tell me about the changes in immigration law that some of the listeners might want to know about?
Yeah, so there's a lot of changes across immigration, across the board. So whether it's legal immigration or illegal immigration, there's changes across the board.
Hi, this is Eric Dick, and I think it's important that you know your rights. If your homeowner's insurance company has denied or underpaid your claim, you have the right to hire an attorney. You have the right to call me for a free consultation at 833-7-RIGHTS. That's 833-7-RIGHTS. Don't let your homeowner's insurance company take advantage of you. Call me today at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Has your homeowner's insurance claim been denied or underpaid? Call Dick Law Firm at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Feeding rocks. It should not be a crime to feed the homeless. Feeding rocks. A good Samaritan shouldn't be punished for acts of kindness. Feeding rocks. Because it's more of a crime to turn your back on a starving person. Feeding rocks. You shouldn't go to jail for sharing food. Feeding rocks. You can't in good conscience let a hungry person starve. Feeding rocks. Help us legalize charity. Go online and sign the petition. www.feeding.rocks. Feeding Rocks.
Some of the major changes, instant denial. So starting in last month, September, if you send in a petition or an application and there's anything that's wrong with it, immigration used to send you a request for more evidence, or they send you a notice of intent to deny and give you an opportunity to fix the problem. So now, no more. They can instantly deny your application. And again, this is not like a rejection. This is a denial. So it looks really, really bad if you're trying to reapply later on.
So what you're telling me is if someone is, wants to work on their status or, wants to bring someone over or marry someone or what have you, they probably should not do it by themselves. They're probably behooved to go actually get a lawyer to help them with their immigration status. Is that what you're telling me, David?
Exactly. I used to tell people, if you read the law very carefully, you could probably do this by yourself. But now so much things have changed. Like, I'll just give you an example. So the basic forms that you need to sponsor a spouse, it used to be last year, before 2017, the I-130 form, it used to be 5 pages. Now it's 18 pages. And there's another form that supplements that. It used to be 4 or 5 pages. Now it's an additional 18 pages. And those are just 2 forms out of the many forms that you have to file in order to bring someone to the U.S.
Now, this is things that probably an attorney is best equipped to handle. Is that correct? Is that a fair assessment?
That's right. And, it's not a person's fault, to be honest with you. A lot of things are wrong online, especially even on the government's website. They're wrong. And I could, probably usually what I do is I show clients, like, look, this is what you want to do. And I could tell you that it's wrong. If you do it this way, like they have it on the website, it's going to get rejected or denied.
Now, there's a lot of notaries that have popped up around this city, I know for sure, over the last few years to try to assist and expedite some of this immigration paperwork. What's your feelings on notaries? Are those really strong-minded people who understand the legal system and know how to navigate the channels?
And that's a good question, Chris. Well, I can tell you for sure, a lot of people in Mexico, there's public notarios are attorneys, but in the U.S., they're not attorneys. Public notarios are popping up, and let me tell you why you don't want to hire one. The public notarios would never put their name on any of your documents. So whenever there's a problem with your documents because they're giving you wrong advice, no one's accountable except for you. And you're not going to be able to blame someone that doesn't have their names on your forms.
Besides, they charge a lot of cash too, aren't they?
They do, but besides this actually being illegal for a notary to practice law, and usually they'll charge at least, near what a lawyer would charge.
Sometimes more.
Sometimes more. So you're having someone, it's basically you're just going and picking someone off the side of the street and saying, hey, help me with my legal forms. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't get, someone off the side of the street to represent me, which actually I do. Being an attorney, actually I do hire people to represent me, and anytime anything happens.
They say what a client has a fool, what is it saying?
Yeah,
only a fool has a client for himself. Or
that's right. So yeah, if you have problems with immigration, you probably should get a lawyer. Maybe you could have done it in the past, but it sounds like things have changed, and it probably behoove you to sit and talk to somebody that actually is licensed through the state bar and tell you what to do. What other problems do you see happening, Danny?
Okay, so the other problems that we see right now is if you're in removal proceedings. So before, if you're in removal proceedings, that means deportation proceedings, you would have probably a very fair trial with the immigration judge. It's not like that anymore. So right now, under Donald Trump, he said that immigration judges have a quota. They're obligated, or they should, try and end at least 700 cases per year. So what this means in reality is that every immigration judge under the quota has to finish a case within 2.5 hours. Think about this for a second. One party has to state the facts of the case, the witnesses have to be called up, the judge has to make a decision, all in the course of 2.5 hours. Some of these cases are asylum cases, meaning that they involve people that have been victims in their own countries. They're going to the US in order to seek protection, and now you have to make a decision within 2.5 hours, whereas maybe a year ago, you would have maybe several years to put together a case. So that's what's happening right now is that.
But on the flip side of that, Danny, hasn't one of the biggest issues always been that the process takes too long? You have to get in line. It's a long line, takes years. But with this expediency of a 2-hour hearing, or doesn't that speed up the process? And doesn't that help people who are in the queue trying to get through the system properly?
So in the past, you're right. So in the past, asylum used to take years. Now it's not that way anymore. So earlier this year, they changed it. When you apply for asylum today, instead of taking years, you're going to get a notice for an interview within 3 to 5 months. That's very quick. Think about this. You have to show asylum is not easy to get. You're going to have to, usually the attorney will write a legal brief. You have to show evidence, so medical records. Imagine fleeing your country with nothing, and then you're going to have to try to get certified copies of your birth certificate, your anything that you have in that situation, maybe judicial records. I mean, it's going to be very hard for anyone that's fleeing their country with no money. Yeah. And nonprofits nowadays don't have a budget in order to fix this issue. There's too many people.
It's definitely a broken system. It's something that we really have to make sure we're pressing our Congress members and our senators to put something in place that's actually going to be sustainable in the long term.
And it's not just the immigration system. I mean, it's the same way with our justice system. There's a lot of sad things that happen every day. I had a client one time in criminal law back when I first started practicing law, where she had some problems with welfare. She got too much welfare because she was broke, and the judge that she was in front of, who's now the administrative judge in Harris County, was Susan Brown. She was nice enough to, put Mike Al in jail, baby in hand. When I say baby in hand, I had to watch the baby while the grandmother came to pick her up.
It was training for you, Dick. It was training for you.
That's training. But we want to talk about injustice. There's a lot of injustice to go around, a lot of injustice in different spots. And it's been going on a long time, and I imagine there always will be injustice.
Yeah, real quick, David. There's a huge caravan coming through Central America right now, going through Mexico, trying to get to the United States. Will they make it? And if so, are they going to be turned back around under this new policy and provisions? What happens to them?
Right now, it's harder for people trying to enter the U.S. to get asylum or refugee status. So I think it's going to be an uphill battle for them to try to make it into the U.S. And even if they do, it's going to be very hard for them to try to get any legal status in the U.S. So it's very hard. We're turning away people that are actually fleeing their country. Some of these people, yes, there's always people that will try to, go past the system that do not qualify. But you have to understand there's a huge vetting process to make sure that their alibi sticks. There's multiple interviews to make sure they have a credible fear.
But if you have a group of 1,000 people coming in one time and saying, we just got bombed in our neighborhood, shouldn't their stories all match, and wouldn't that be considered some type of evidence that could be used in the process?
So just like you mentioned earlier about the Kavanaugh hearing, when people experience trauma, they're gonna remember different things. And so when you have a child versus an adult, they're gonna see different things, and that's why it takes a lot of work in order to gather the story to make it make sense, because every person's story is going to be a little different based on their experience.
Well, I think it just goes to show that you're always probably doing right whenever you have legal problems to go and get an attorney. The system's always going to change under whether it's Trump, whether it was going to be somebody else. The system's going to change. Whether it's good or bad, it always remains to be seen. It's fascinating how government works and how consequences for actions happen. Plenty of times they're inadvertent. It could be this could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. Only time will tell. But what is important is while they're going through this process, if they're serious about it, they probably need legal help.
They do, and that's what we're here for, is to try to make sure we guide people to make sure they're getting legal help in any type of situation they're in. And David Wynn, thank you for your time today with talking about immigration. And if anybody needs to reach out to David, what's that phone number?
It's 281-777-1236.
All right, thank you, David.
Yeah, so is there anything else we need to go through in this fast and furious?
Absolutely. You know, again, anytime you're facing an insurance company, whether it's a car accident, a personal injury that happens, you slipped and fell, or you got flooded or hail damage, if the insurance company does not want to pay, you got to make sure you have someone on your side who's going to fight for you from the beginning to the end, and is going to take the insurance company to task.
You know what I found amazing is I've represented like thousands of people, and when I say thousands, like 2,000-3,000 people. And out of those thousands of people I've represented, I'd say 98-99% were underpaid on their claims. It's just kind of fascinating that so many insurance companies just underpay claims, and they pay big money to to government through lobbyist organizations like Texans for Lawsuit Reform to buy people off. But I guess that's never going to stop. You're always going to have stuff like that, and that's been going on since governments began. Is you have special interests.
And it has, and as long as there continues to be special interests protecting the insurance companies, it's important and critical that you have an attorney fighting on your side, and that's where homeowners insurance lawyer, attorney Eric Dick, comes in. And again, if you're getting in that legal situation, don't get mad, get Dick.
Good to be back again, folks. I'll see y'all next weekend, or I won't see y'all. I'll talk to you next weekend.
And make sure that we haven't always said this, but we got to send a huge shout out to our producer Shannon. See y'all next week.
Thanks, producer Shannon. Have a good one. Barely did that one. That was a rush.
Hey, send me some business cards. Maybe I'll get it out. I have a business card wall.
Hey guys, again, sorry for the short show today, but we'll be back on. We're good next week, right?
I'll put this all on.
We're good next week. But we'll let y'all know. Yeah, have a good one.
It's on Twitter. It'll be on Twitter later. Okay. Bye, folks. Thanks. Hi, this is Eric Dick, and I think it's important that you know your rights. If your homeowner's insurance company has denied or underpaid your claim, you have the right to hire an attorney. You have the right to call me for free consultation at 833-7-RIGHTS. That's 833-7-RIGHTS. Don't let your homeowner's insurance company take advantage of you. Call me today at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Has your homeowner's insurance claim been denied or underpaid? Call Dick Law Firm at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Feeding rocks. It should not be a crime to feed the homeless. Feeding rocks. A good Samaritan shouldn't be punished for acts of kindness. Feeding rocks. Because it's more of a crime to turn your back on a starving person. Feeding rocks. You shouldn't go to jail for sharing food. Feeding rocks. You can't in good conscience let a hungry person starve. Feeding rocks. Help us legalize charity. Go online and sign the petition. www.feeding.rocks. Feeding rocks.
We're about to go live. About 7 minutes. We've got a bunch of great guests, a bunch of great topics. You can message me. If you guys message me, I'll respond. Oh. Let's see. My handle is at Dick Law Firm on most Twitter, Instagram. Okay.
You're doing your live stream too?
Yeah. So,
Does
he have Wi-Fi or no?
There is Wi-Fi here. It's iHeartMedia. I don't remember the password. I'm gonna have to find it.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, iHeartRadio guest.
Yeah.
Let's get to that. Radio guest. We're jumping.
I don't know that I know what the password is, guys. I'm looking for the email where they sent it to me.
Check their phones. Good, I checked their phones already.
I put mine on vibrate.
Yeah, mine's on vibrate.
Probably better put it in your pockets.
Yeah, I watched the debate last night.
I saw clips of it. That's it.
Pretty much.
We have kids, so we're like, we have triplets.
You
so
have triplets? Yeah.
So we basically pass out like around 8.
Pretty much. It's work, take care of the kids, and sleep.
Yeah.
When you
When
can.
they go to bed, we clean, do all this stuff, and then pass out.
2.5. All right, at least I wait till they go to bed first. So.
Before we pass out, that's a good thing. Well, we do CPS work, so
It's
we
kind of
know
a necessary requirement.
it's kind of a necessary requirement.
Wow.
So they exhaust us.
Yeah.
Basically.
Is that the only thing?
That's all. He
Oh,
says we
yeah.
can't have any more kids.
Well, I understand that.
Isn't that mean?
We just knock them all out in one while.
People say that it's not quite as amazing as you would think to knock
Yeah.
them all out in
No,
one shot.
I definitely see the benefit of.
Any triplet parent you speak to will tell you we love our kids. We wouldn't have chosen to have triplets.
Correct.
That's like Octomom type thing.
Right.
Thinking, yeah, we're more of the. We're happy we had 3 kids. Yay!
Are they all girls, all boys?
All girls. I
mean,
cried.
you gotta get your boy, man.
Nope.
I cried. As I told them, no one's gonna love me. I said they're gonna love Daddy. Mommy will do everything, and Daddy will get the love.
3 girls?
3 girls. Oh, did you find a Wi-Fi password or no?
I didn't. I couldn't find it. I looked. I didn't see
Do
it.
you think your engineer knows it?
You're gonna have to ask her. We're about to start though.
Okay.
We're gonna be able to talk about CPS a little bit as well.
Well, he does some CPS and I do, but I'm not talking. So.
Okay.
Let me record at least, and then I can give it my perspective. It's already on.
Every Sunday from 5 to 6 p.m. Right here, KPRC, 950 AM. And now, the worst commercial ever. Hi, I'm Justin Galvin, retired athlete from the local football team. So I know a thing or two about insuring a landscaping business. I trust the pros, commercial auto and business insurance through Progressive. Get customized insurance solutions that are Grand Slam home run for you.
Restroom. I'm running.
Commercial auto and business insurance through Progressive.
To the left. To the left.
So I just discovered DazzleMe.com. It's a totally addictive new jewelry site with big name luxury brands. And you know which ones I'm talking about. The ones that I was thinking,
No, doesn't necessarily work. Ah. Okay. We're about to go on live with we're at KPRC, AM 950. We've got a bunch of great guests today. A family lawyer, kind of a couple. Philip Bryant here is co-hosting, helping me out. He's wingmanning it. We're going to be going on pretty soon, so tune in. If you guys have any questions, post it on. I'm watching on Facebook. It's live on a number. That's fine. Oh, maybe I should put on my headphones.
There's some here.
Let's see. Oh, wait. Yeah, it goes silent for a little bit before. If I remember right, I always get spooked with this. It goes silent for a little bit, then it'll play its music. And we get going. Okay.
Here. I was like, what is he doing?
I didn't know Beto had a DWI.
You mean Bill?
Oh, Beto.
Beto.
Didn't he have someone like his dad that was a judge covered up or something like that too? Didn't get his dad last night. I heard.
Very well could be.
That'll make for some.
That's gonna be some good radio. You guys getting a preview of what we're gonna be talking about. Juicy, only the juiciest here.
Okay.
Okay.
Am I gonna be able to hear?
We have a studio. There's gonna be a studio monitor that'll play that like we were hearing before. It'll play.
Oh, in the background.
In the background, yeah.
Okay.
If there's a good family law question, can she answer or is that?
I don't mind. Y'all can both answer.
Okay.
There should be a mic right there.
That might still be on.
There should be both mics on.
No, it's criminal definitely on.
Well, if he says for me to do it, I can push mic on.
Yeah, just hold on. I know it's quiet. Okay.
This was and then Rodriguez. Then it's live on AM 950. Can take some questions, give some answers, and we're on the Eric Dick Show. Hope to hear from you.
Okay, I know it's a little quiet. I know. That's okay. Just getting ready. It's the calm before the storm, folks. The calm before the storm. Okay.
We did have an accident working on the outbound side of the It's not clear, but things still might be slow to unwind. And we do have construction delayed outbound on the Southwest Freeway affecting West Loop, but now the backup from Stephen Cross. 24 hour traffic. Adjust that. This report is a headphone volume if it's too loud.
Okay, we'll get ready to go on. Minutes, folks. I'm here. Still have a delay. You tune in AM 950 or just Facebook Live, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. Twitch, yeah. I'm on Twitch, YouTube, and every single one. Periscope.
That's pretty cool.
Periscope, which is Twitter and all of them. So, guys, you got questions? Oh, no. You should contact your attorney for opinion advice with respect to any particular issue or problem. The opinions expressed on the whole picture are that of the host and guests, and do not reflect the opinions of the station or iHeartMedia. Whoa, I'm back again, back for more. Oh boy, and I've got a number of great guests today. We got a lot to talk about. This is Eric Dick, and running wingman today is none other than Philip Paul Bryant of the Kojic Pack and many other great ventures.
Good afternoon.
We're live on AM 950. Live on a number of social media handles at Dick Law Firm. So let's just kind of dig into it. We've got a number of topics. So should a white insurance adjuster who's working for an insurance company, and I hate even bringing up really his nationality, his race, but should a white insurance adjuster suggest that an arbitrator be Hispanic because the policyholder is Hispanic? I asked that because I had this happen to me. I had this adjuster, his name is Kevin Horomas, who's kind of a jerk.
You gonna call him out here?
I'm gonna call him out. He's kind of, in fact, he really is. He's just not a nice person. What I've learned in this world is you've got good people and you've got bad people, and he is. Anybody that knows him knows he's not a very good person. So, anyway, he suggests, and I'm just going to read what he wrote in email. He suggests, let's pull it up, as an alternative umpire, which is, I'm just going to say, arbitrator selection due to plaintiff's Hispanic heritage. Apparently now he cares that my client's Hispanic. I'd offer this other person as an alternative. And my question is that kind of racist? Is it inappropriate? Could they pick another, insurance adjuster because my client's Hispanic? I'm just wondering. Since the guy all of a sudden cares, is that appropriate? I don't know. What do you think, Philip?
Is it appropriate for an appraiser to request a umpire that's the same nationality as the client?
Yeah, whenever no one else is the same nationality, not even the person requesting.
Yeah, it seems like you're kind of infusing race into a situation now there's a language barrier issue. I think a language barrier issue. I think the courts have a way to kind of bring in an interpreter. I think for the most part that should be suffice. I don't necessarily think that it's about a jury of your peers at this particular point. If your peers would be the same nationality, I think it's more so about making sure that you have an arbitrator that understands the law, the rules that guide the policy, and, and kind of go from there. It shouldn't necessarily be based on a race. I know a lot of people may feel a little bit more comfortable, perhaps. I know if I'm in court, if I have an African American judge and I'm African American, I may not necessarily get special treatment. And in some cases, it may be some tough love because they feel like I should know better.
So is this like him saying, you know, my client might get special treatment, or is he? I don't know.
It's kind of inferring that you only get special treatment from a judge or an arbitrator with the same ethnic background.
Then another question I have is why would an insurance company even hire a joker like that? Because it sounds like they're setting them up for some type of lawsuit on being sued just for being racist.
Well, the fact that he put that in writing is a little bit more concerning. I mean, even if you're thinking something, or even if that's your strategy, to actually send that over email, because from what I understand, you can actually have your email subpoenaed. I'm not an attorney, but you can have your email subpoenaed, as well as text message these days. So I'm not sure why someone would put that in writing.
You can even have the opposing counsel talk about it on his radio show. I mean, imagine that. Imagine that would happen.
Yeah.
Nothing on the internet is safe from anybody.
No. So Russell, you're a lawyer. You practice criminal law, family law.
Special guest Russell. I think you may have forgot to introduce him.
I know I am not a very good host. I'm sorry. I didn't have a number of. I should have had more Southern hospitality.
Southern hospitality.
I know I'm a jerk plaintiff's lawyer. They call me, reptilian, all this type of stuff.
Perhaps you should have had a radio host that's the same nationality.
They might have been. I know they might have been nicer. I'm sorry. So Russell, step up. Tell me what you think. Tell me about you. Tell me what you think about this.
Hey, my name's Russell. I'm Russell Newman of Newman & Rodriguez Law Firm. I do mainly criminal and juvenile, but I have a partner and she does family. I think it's a very interesting issue. I have that come up a lot in cases, such as DWIs and such. I think the issue is, how is it framed? Does this person suggest that you have someone who's of the same race, or does he require someone of the same race? Why does he want someone of the same race? I think there's issues there within that have to be answered. I don't on its face love the idea, no, I don't. But I'd like to know the thinking behind it before I say it's absolutely inappropriate, or is appropriate, or it's not, or whatever. But on its face, yes, I do find it kind of disturbing.
Well, why would you even go down that path? This is my first question. What does it matter their race?
It doesn't.
I mean, what is it? I mean, I'd hope in the current arbitrator's former county attorney, Michael Fleming, who I can tell you personally, I could go up to him and tell him what I think, and he's going to say he don't care. He's going to make his own decision, because that's just how he is, period. And they just, I guess they'd rather, I don't know. It just seems. Hi, this is Eric Dick, and I think it's important that you know your rights. If your homeowner's insurance company has denied or underpaid your claim, you have the right to hire an attorney. You have the right to call me for free consultation at 833-7-RIGHTS. That's 833-7-RIGHTS. Don't let your homeowner's insurance company take advantage of you. Call me today at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Has your homeowner's insurance claim been denied or underpaid? Call Dick Law Firm at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Feeding rocks. It should not be a crime to feed the homeless. Feeding rocks. A good Samaritan shouldn't be punished for acts of kindness. Feeding rocks. Because it's more of a crime to turn your back on a starving person. Feeding rocks. You shouldn't go to jail for sharing food. Feeding rocks. You can't in good conscience let a hungry person starve. Feeding rocks. Help us legalize charity. Go online and sign the petition. www.feeding.rocks. Feeding Rocks.
seems weird. But you brought your law partner, your spouse. You brought her along with you today.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And y'all share triplets, as we were talking about.
They are 2.5 years old. I love them to death, and they are hastening my death at the same time too, probably.
Well, that's you don't really. These are your first.
First and only.
3 at a
You guys
time.
are just warming up, man. Let's just figured out how to do that right. Now you're gonna just call it.
If they're great or if they're screwed up, I've done my damage.
Having 3 at a time, that is a lot. What we were talking about.
You're afraid they have another 3 at a time. And end up with 6.
Yeah. She may never be touched again.
I sometimes joke with my spouse that having children is the best form of birth control.
No, having 3 kids is the best form of birth control.
That's very true. Oh, okay. Okay. We're going to take a little bit of a break. Talk more with Russell and Philip O'Brien about some other great topics. Thanks, guys. We'll be back.
What's your last name?
Cynthia. Okay, Cynthia. Sorry. Oh, thanks for calling me out.
I seriously doubt that the company knew that this guy thought like that when they hired him.
They hire him because he's a joke. They really do hire him because he's a joke.
You think it's an intimidation factor?
No, I think what it is he's afraid Fleming's going to be there. He's always there, and he's just trying to bait. He's trying to bait the other person into changing. But he's just wildly inappropriate. The guy's always wildly inappropriate.
We do some stuff like having to deal with somebody's adjusters is just insane. Because they go crazy, and of course it's their bottom line. The least amount that they give you, the better it is for their company to have on. But it becomes ridiculous after a point.
Well, essentially the job is to be a fit.
That's the main goal, is to make them fair as they could be so that they can save more money for their company.
That's true. That's true. If they were fair, I'd probably be out of business.
Because they wouldn't need you.
No, they wouldn't be.
Full-time radio host here.
Oh, yeah.
Starving full-time radio host. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Oh man. Okay.
Ours is still streaming. I don't know how to call it.
Oh, it's gonna stream all the way through.
Well, mine is on my phone. I'm streaming all this.
Yeah, good.
A lot of people asking about the propositions as well.
Oh, we can talk about the propositions. You know how I feel about the firefighters. I haven't seen a bunch of great people joining in. Oh man, we got a great crowd. Okay. Oh, so now let's go back. Go back with the State Farm having to pay $250,000. They agreed to pay $250,000. $250 million. A little too
$250,000 in the
$250 million for Judge Fixer. Oh, in a time like that, we're pushing laws that favor interests. And then Republicans wonder why, Ted Cruz is having such a hard time. Why it's a competitive race. They seem surprised, seem shocked. You can pretty well set up the background.
Oh, I can hear everything. No, I just hear you guys. Oh my gosh. I don't even know. I didn't even pay attention. Once it started, I was listening and laughing. It's a good show.
Feel free to jump in. We talk smack for a little bit.
Oh, I was laughing.
I'm still, to be fair, I have two kids, a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. I can just imagine having three-year-olds, three-year-olds.
Two and a half.
So they're doing the treble twos right now?
Oh,
Yes.
Okay.
I'm back with Eric Dick on my little show we got here with Philip Paul Bryant running shotgun. We've got a great law couple, Russell and Cynthia. Was it Newman? So then we're talking law and politics because that is just the most fun stuff to talk about on a Saturday afternoon, folks. It's just great. Okay, so what I saw in the news sometime back is State Farm agreed to pay $250 million, not thousand, not hundred. $250 million.
A quarter of a billion.
Quarter of a billion. And the allegations were that they fixed the judge. When I say fix the judge, there's an underlining case, and they got that judge kicked out to get another judge that they pretty much paid for to kick out a meritorious case, and they got sued over that and settled it for $250 million.
Yeah, this was Illinois. You know how they do Chicago politics style, right? I think it was the state Supreme Court. From what I saw, it was a state Supreme Court case. A judge was originally, I guess he was an appellate judge in the circuit court for a little bit, and then I guess when the seat came open, they threw looks like it was about $5 or $6 million behind his campaign.
$5 or $6 million with the M.
Bigger question is, can we get some of these State Farm PACs to donate to some of our judges? Just kidding. Just
donating to us.
Well, I think okay. So let's break this down a little bit because this could go a lot of different ways. So you've got an insurance company, the biggest one in the nation. People wonder why I jump up and down and say, don't get State Farm, it's the worst one. All my newsletters, number one, say State Farm, they're vindictive. They're going to find any way to take advantage of you.
I love their commercials, though, man. I mean, have you seen their commercials? It's good stuff.
It is good stuff. You clip, you put your heels together and then say... And they're there when they need the money, but whenever it's time to pay the claim, apparently they aren't. They say, too bad, so sad, call your dad, go sue us. And if you get a good judge, then they're going to pay $5 billion to kick out that judge to get someone else.
It seems like, it looks like there was an original case that I guess the plaintiffs won about $8 billion. And so the case was already won, and it looks like they went back, got this judge on the bench, and allowed this judge to then go back and undo the case.
Well, of course.
That's pretty gangster, even for Chicago, even for Illinois. That's pretty gangster stuff.
Cheaper than paying $8 billion.
Yes,
just a little. What do you think about that, Russell? What do you think about State Farm trying to fix a judge? We see that going on in Harris County in the criminal courts.
Well, I think people think that can happen, but I don't actually see it happening. But one of the questions I have about that is, if State Farm is being called out on this one, how many times has it happened in the past? That's a great question that I would have about this problem that's presented in Chicago.
I see it every day, folks. I see it all the time, every day with State Farm. So I'm just gonna tell you about it. If State Farm does you wrong, you hire an attorney, you sue them. Your choices are take it to the box or walk away. And that's kind of they don't care. They make you try cases. They'll spend, the last one I tried, they spent maybe $400,000 or $500,000, and this is over like a $10,000 dispute, folks. It's not over much money. It's over $10,000. They didn't pay the guy to replace his roof after there was storm damage that happened up in the Dallas area. He was upset. He's like, I've been paying into State Farm for all this time, And, I figure the least they do, I've been paying them, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a year. At least they do is, pay to fix my roof. But no. They made them take it to the box. 3 years later, we had a trial. So, it happens all the time. What their strategy is to just blow you out of the water. If they'll depose every single person. If you have an attorney proving up attorney fees, they'll depose you. So, y'all do, Cynthia, you do family law, right? Doing family law, I just have, you prove up attorney fees all the time. Either the husband will say, you made me do this stuff as a portion of equity since we're married, pay for my attorney fees. Or the wife, or there'll be a child support little fight. And it's like, you're making me have to do this, pay up my attorney fees.
That's correct.
Happens all the time, every day.
Every day, somebody wants to find out, make sure that it's an equitable amount of attorney fees that are being paid on both sides. And there's some situations where you're entitled to the attorney fees. So if you file a motion for enforcement and you're successful, and when I say enforcement, that means, let's say your baby mama, to use a phrase, is not allowing you to see your kids according to an order. Well, judges don't like that, especially here in Harris County. We've got some really great family law judges on the bench right now. We do. And you're entitled to your attorney's fees if that judge feels that there was a violation of that order.
So in those cases, how many of those cases have you seen? Just a guess. How many have you done in your life of those type of cases?
I can't even count it.
Like thousands, tens of thousands?
I wouldn't say thousands. I'm not that old.
But you'd say hundreds, like
I would say probably about 100 at this point.
Right, and then each week you've seen it 2, 3, 4 times, right?
Yes, at least each week, 2, 3, just depending on our schedules.
How many times has the opposing counsel thought it'd be a good idea to depose someone over the attorney fees?
Absolutely none. In fact, we barely question each other most of the time if they're fairly reasonable. On your hourly rate.
At this point, isn't it?
That's correct.
Right.
It's accepted practice on this point, especially on those types of cases.
Now, what shocks me, get this, every single time I take a State Farm case to the box, they spend 3, 4, and this is nice, 3, 4, 8 hours deposing me over attorney fees. 8 hours.
We call that being a bully. They're trying to intimidate and they're trying to make a point. And they're using you as part of it, obviously, because if one attorney says it's not worth it, then maybe the next person won't take a State Farm case.
It's a deterrent on their part.
Correct. They know that if they start doing it across the way, because obviously you have friends that are plaintiffs' attorneys, just like we have friends that are family law attorneys and criminal law attorneys, and so we talk. And there's certain cases in certain courts, which I won't say, that I may charge a little bit more because I know it may be a little more difficult to deal with. And I'm sure you and your friends discuss State Farm ad nauseum.
Well, the good news is there's just not many people that take first-party insurance claims, especially with the current laws in place that are exceptionally favorable to insurance companies. You had a 542A that happened, over the last legislative session, where you had Texans for Lawsuit Reform basically bribing people to push that law in place. Just saying, and this is always their excuse, evil plaintiff lawyers, greedy plaintiff lawyers, they're taking advantage of everybody, and I just don't, fair enough. That's just their propaganda. Usually when there's propaganda, there's a reason for the propaganda. And I'm going kind of off on just a tangent. But since we're going off in this tangent, let's run with it a little bit. Another thing I want to talk about.
What makes me upset about the State Farm case is my main man, Eric Dick, wasn't the attorney. I was suing for that $250. Man, how much, what's the
attorney fees on that?
What's the Mexican restaurant we go to?
Oh, El Tiempo.
Man, think about how many times we could have went to El Tiempo.
Lifetime supply.
He could have bought an El Tiempo.
He could have bought an El Tiempo. In your backyard, there's a pool. Save ourselves some time.
Fajitas and margaritas for everyone.
No, we just get the little. We're just gonna be getting the little meals. We're ordering off the lunch plate, Philip. We aren't buying no restaurants.
There's the kids menu too.
There's the kids menu. Yeah. You especially at the kids menu with 3 kids.
You can bring the girls; they'll only eat one of them.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back. We're going to talk about TWIA, Texas windstorm. We're going to talk about the courthouse state of affairs with family and criminal courthouses. And, of course, we're going to talk about the debate last night with Beto and Ted Cruz. Stay in. Stay with us. Thanks, folks. See you soon.
I turned the microphone off. I think I did. I hit off.
Oh man, that was funny.
That was.
Oh man. What's up, bro?
No, I've been doing this 100 ounces of water a day, trying to make sure I stay hydrated, and I'm like, because it helps with your like intake of food as well. So yeah, it fills me up, and so. But doesn't bode well for sitting anywhere for an hour or 2.
I always try to. I get really bad reflux, so I try to drink water and eat healthy. All the avoid all the stuff you like, everything that's good,
Exactly.
everything that tastes good.
It's bad for reflux.
Hi, this is Eric Dick, and I think it's important that you know your rights. If your homeowner's insurance company has denied or underpaid your claim, you have the right to hire an attorney. You have the right to call me for a free consultation at 833-7-RIGHTS. That's 833-7-RIGHTS. Don't let your homeowner's insurance company take advantage of you. Call me today at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Has your homeowner's insurance claim been denied or underpaid? Call Dick Law Firm at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Feeding rocks. It should not be a crime to feed the homeless. Feeding rocks. A good Samaritan shouldn't be punished for acts of kindness. Feeding rocks. Because it's more of a crime to turn your back on a starving person. Feeding rocks. You shouldn't go to jail for sharing food. Feeding rocks. You can't in good conscience let a hungry person starve. Feeding rocks. Help us legalize charity. Go online and sign the petition. www.feeding.rocks. Feeding rocks.
A life well lived might be better than a long life.
Well, I got kids too. I'm not going short.
Yeah, and a 2-year-old. That's.
You guys got. You're not a spring chicken when you had the kiddos, which ain't nothing. I don't mean to be nothing. I wasn't young when I had my kiddos either.
Yeah, it's tough.
And it's amazing. It's some of the best parts of your life.
It is. It's great. And I tell people I had them late, but I had a good time before, so it's not like I'm sitting here missing the vacations or doing things.
No, and you got your kiddos, and the way they look at you, the way the things they do is just so adorable. How they interact.
They're happy just to sit on you and watch TV. For like a short period.
They will manipulate you the rest of your life.
They try. They try. Very much the Hispanic mama, so. And people laugh at me, but I'm like, you take my kids in public, they eat out once or twice a week, and we don't have issues.
Oh, yes. Nothing's wrong with that.
I sit there. I may not eat, but it's just to train them as they get older so they know how to behave when you're in public, because we eat out probably 2 or 3 times a week with them. And then ourselves forget it, we eat.
Nothing's wrong with that. And you're in the swamp. You're chugging along. You got like doing family law and criminal law. That's tough. That's
we
tough
didn't even
work.
slow down. We had them in the NICU for 6 weeks. They were home for 2 weeks when we tried a sexual assault case in Galveston. So we were leaving them at 7 with the nanny and getting back at 7 and then taking care of them, and they weren't sleeping through the nights. So we were We were living on an hour and a half to 2 hours of sleep a night while we tried the sexual assault case. It was crazy. I think about it now, and I can't even believe we survived.
It's awesome. It's just awesome in itself, and that y'all are able to push a successful law firm, and you got 3 kiddos, like young kiddos, and just do it. I mean, you aren't sleeping, but you're doing it.
Well, we have a lot of, we have extended family. My family, I come from a very big family, and so they help out quite a bit. And then, like today, I was lucky my secretary's daughter had early childhood development as her major, so she's in student teaching and not making money. So she's happy to come over on Saturdays and take care of the kids for us for a few hours for not that much. And I mean, otherwise I would be coming here. You know, our family wants to do things with their families too.
No. My mom's playing with my kids now too.
I mean, we're lucky. A lot of people don't have extended family to help, so I'm very, very blessed.
Getting close.
So just push on, right? You all tell me when, and I'll do on.
All right, folks, we're back. I've got a bunch of great people here. Philip Paul Bryant, Russell, and Cynthia Newman.
Hello.
Great family and criminal law here in Houston. And let's talk about Texas windstorm, whether it's worth it, whether we should get rid of it. Let's kind of go a little background. Texas Windstorm is the insurance company of last resort along the coast. Laws changed maybe in 2000, let's say 5, making it pretty difficult to get Texas Windstorm to actually pay a claim. You have a lot of articles happening, a lot of people suing, saying that Texas Windstorm, they sent out an initial adjuster saying that the damage was like $80,000. Then that was too much, and they had to send out like a new adjuster to come back and just knock the number down to like $10,000, $15,000. My question is this: should we even have Texas Windstorm? Why are we paying the money on this? If they're ripping people off, why do we even have it? Why are we even dealing? Why?
They're the insurer of last resort, from what I read.
Well, I don't. Okay, so I hear you saying it's the insurer of last resort, but you got to keep in mind. Here's kind of the beauty of it. There's also lender-placed policy, so if you didn't have insurance, the lender would automatically, that would kick in. And I'm not saying it's better, because actually it might be like just slightly better if you're able to sue them. They always argue that you don't have standing, but it's much better insurance than Texas Windstorm, because it's comprehensive, and I'm sure there's the same level of corruptions there. I'm not doubting that, but I guess the question is it better? Because I'm not even sure. What do you think, Philip?
So this is something that taxpayers have to pay for.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh yeah.
And it kicks in if your current policy doesn't work.
No, if you are off the Gulf Coast and you want insurance, there are some insurance companies now that do sell. Private insurance companies. Swift is one. Just an interesting name for insurance company on the Gulf Coast. But there are some private insurance companies that are selling on the Gulf Coast. If you are not able to get them, then if you have a mortgage company or what have you, they're going to force you to get insurance.
If you're denied.
No, if you can't get insurance, or if you'd end up getting it from someone like TWIA. And so that's kind of what it is. What do you think, Russell?
I don't see the point. I kind of agree with you. What are we getting out of this? I mean, is there a tangible asset that we see in TWIA that we wouldn't see if we didn't have it?
I don't know. Cynthia, what do you think?
Well, it sounds like they are paying some, they're just not paying all. Is that correct?
The allegations are there's a law firm that sued them, done depositions, where what happened is initially they'd say like the damages are like $80,000, and then they wouldn't like that, so they'd go back and they'd send another expert and say, no, that's too much, let's knock it down to 15.
Okay, and so the issue is whether or not that's, I guess it's, if they can't get it from anyone else, would you think 15,000 is better than none?
How much are you paying for the insurance would be my question. Are you paying $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $8,000 a year for the insurance? If you are, save your money.
That's true. Well, that's similar to being forced to have any kind of health care insurance
I
as
think
well.
about insurance in general.
For some people, they pay whatever the penalty is. It's $600 to $1,000 or something like that. Versus you don't want to know what we pay every month.
No, it's probably similar to what I pay every month.
And so that's part of the issue. Is just, is it worth it in the long run when you save it? I guess when you, depending on how much they're going to pay. But if the history is that they're not going to be covering these, then no. I mean, you can save your $1,000, $1,200 a month, and you just put that $15,000 towards whatever damage you end up getting.
And if you have a mortgage company, the mortgage company is going to charge you for lender-placed policy, which that will pay because the mortgage company is going to want the house fixed.
Correct.
I don't know if they'll pay right. They probably won't pay right, but I imagine they'd pay something. They'd at least pay enough. I'd hope that. Well, who knows? I imagine. I've had cases where the lender-placed policy didn't pay stuff, so maybe I'm just too hopeful. Maybe I'm just too optimistic.
I wonder if it's really that much every month because it makes me think kind of something synonymous with us. We live in a flood zone, so we have to pay flood insurance, and we pay, and it's gone up over the last few years, and it was I think $1,600 this year. So $1,600 over the 12 months, and if you pay that for this type of insurance, if you get $15,000 for damage, that may be worth it.
So what's fascinating about flood insurance?
Sit around and wait for FEMA.
That's something.
That's a legitimate point.
Oh, we're sorry.
You'll be waiting around for quite a while.
The Red Cross is good for 500, I think.
So what's interesting about NFIP, if we're going to go into a little bit, it's a government subsidized program where you have businesses, individuals purchasing insurance that, when I say subsidized, in theory, they're supposed to pay out more than they collect, and they probably do. I don't doubt it. But having said all that, what my issue with NFIP is, I don't understand why they offer it to the business community, to school districts, to stuff like that. Whenever you can actually buy insurance on the private market, flood insurance, and it's not that much more. So that's kind of another. I kind of wonder about that. And I'm going on a side note. Russell, tell me the state of affairs in the criminal courthouses in Harris County.
Well, it's a pretty big cluster. It's a big problem. I think in what's been over a year, they have done nothing to ameliorate the situation. But I think the original criminal courthouse was such a disaster that if they fix that somehow, which I don't see how they can, maybe there may actually be a blessing somehow. But for right now, I'm running from juvenile court to civil court to a small portion of the criminal court, all to cover the same criminal docket. And it pushes back civil cases that like you have to try, or family cases that my partner has to try, because criminal cases take precedence because your freedom's at stake. And so I feel not only do I have to cover so much more ground in the same amount of time, my cases get precedence in the court, and that backs everything up. So I think they really, really need to focus on having each courthouse for each kind of law again. But I think we're moving very slowly and haven't seen any improvement, and it kind of gets me down because I don't know what Harris County is doing to fix the situation.
Aren't they still using parts of the building? Because I know a family that they had a case down there, and it seems like they kind of redirect you automatically when you go to the criminal court. They tell you to go to the civil court, even though they're having some criminal court cases in the criminal court. What's going on?
What do you think, Cynthia?
They may try the cases in different courts. So let's say for regular settings, you have regular court appearances, you go to the civil courthouse.
Right.
Well, one day you may show up, if you're set for trial, they're going to send you back to another courthouse to actually try the case. So it can get confusing for people, and they have now opened up the 20th floor.
A couple floors. Probably 17 through 20.
Of the main criminal courthouse,
which is the courthouse,
201 Franklin.
Right. Which is the courthouse floor that was the least affected. What they're saying is it's the easiest ones to open. But they're saying the other ones are so far from being open that they're not even optimistic.
So they're just kind of doing one floor at a time as far as this?
I think they're opening the floors that were not destroyed. They're saying the other floors have been so damaged that they can't open them anytime soon without major construction.
Well, and what the background here, if folks are just tuning in, they don't understand what we're talking about, is the civil courthouses, more specifically, the criminal courthouse got flooded just something severe from Hurricane Harvey. There was a basement doors.
I think they have some roof problems.
Sprinklers went off.
It wasn't roof problems. I actually remember this quite well because they asked me a little bit about the insurance. So, oh no, okay. And Chris Daniel was on here last week, and I know he's hustling. He's doing what he can, but there's only so much the district court can do. It's
He's
really
a great district court to deal with. I don't even know the man personally, but if I have problems on cases, he answers my messaging on Facebook.
I know.
It's just amazing.
Yeah, he hustles. So criminal courthouse flooded. All the cases got moved over to the civil courthouse. The old family courthouse, is it even being used anymore?
Yeah, it's being used for misdemeanors right now.
And
The civil courthouse is felonies, and the old family courthouse is being misdemeanors.
Misdemeanors and 4D courts, which are the OAG courts.
Child support.
Yeah, the child support, the Title 4D, or the Attorney General brings them for to pay child support. Yeah. So what kind of cases do you do, Russell?
I've tried everything from Class C tickets to murder. I mean,
Got a murder case?
Yeah, sure. DWIs, ag assaults.
DWI, you could have represented Duco.
Yeah, right. And you know what? If I did, no one would know about it.
Well, we'll get into that. That might be a good segue. So if people want to find out about you, Russell, where do they look?
Well, you can type in my name in Google, and the first thing that comes up is my website, but officially it's newmanandrodriguez.com, and it gives us a little dossier about who we are, and we're just fighters. We fight our cases. We don't plead. We rarely work them out, and we come out on top if you hire us.
Perfect.
Hang out between the courts and watch them run from one court to another.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. We're going to be right back, folks. Stay tuned. We're talking about Beto versus Cruz, the debate. Thanks, guys.
Oh, God.
She keeps me on track. The thing is, sometimes I'll forget. I won't catch it until it's like, you gotta take a break.
You want to hear the news?
Yeah. They say 2020 is optimistic, by the way. So it fits any of the points.
No, I don't doubt it. I don't.
So that's thinking 2021, 2022. It's saying 2020 is optimistic.
My hope is that they actually. The problem with the criminal courthouse. Well, there's a lot of problems with the criminal courthouse. But the biggest problem that I saw is that you couldn't get into the darn thing. So if they are repairing it, I hope they actually fix it so you can actually go up the elevator. I think how much are they spent? Might be good to start from the back.
Definitely.
Because I mean,
the structure is already flawed as it is.
Somebody got a whole building there?
Yeah. You know how long does it take you to get to the Gulf Cities? Sometimes it's
even if I'm on bond, I'm not going to be surrendered and revoked, and I'm going on time.
You gotta come and you got a big line from the courthouse.
That's just what happened to someone. I was in the DGA, and they went through the metal detectors and everything at the Silver Courthouse. They told them they needed to go to the criminal court. They went over to the criminal court. They said, no, you need to go back to the civil court. And by the time they got back, the line was like around the corner. And I'm pretty sure that they got there following her.
Yep. That's insane. And they wonder why people have big problems with criminal justice. They wonder why people are upset with criminal justice.
Yeah, I have to. Right, you were there on time. They tell you to go to the wrong building, and now they revoke your bond and put you back in jail. That's
you got to show up to court for 2 hours. They wonder. Huh.
Smoking always affected my daily life because I was a closet smoker. It really sort of controlled me from that. And my boss is saying that I can do it, so I don't believe the odor of smoking
Hi, this is Eric Dick, and I think it's important that you know your rights. If your homeowner's insurance company has denied or underpaid your claim, you have the right to hire an attorney. You have the right to call me for free consultation at 833-7-RIGHTS. That's 833-7-RIGHTS. Don't let your homeowner's insurance company take advantage of you. Call me today at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Has your homeowner's insurance claim been denied or underpaid? Call Dick Law Firm at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Feeding rocks. It should not be a crime to feed the homeless. Feeding rocks. A good Samaritan shouldn't be punished for acts of kindness. Feeding rocks. Because it's more of a crime to turn your back on a starving person. Feeding rocks. You shouldn't go to jail for sharing food. Feeding rocks. You can't in good conscience let a hungry person starve. Feeding rocks. Help us legalize charity. Go online and sign the petition. www.feeding.rocks. Feeding Rocks.
Weird. So what it is working. Periscope, YouTube, Facebook, streaming, Twitch. Cooking. How you guys on Instagram doing? Thumbs up? I just can't believe they just let me let me have this show. I think they're just gotten desperate at KPRC. Find some poor lawyer on the side of the street and then just give them a show.
That's funny.
We'll host for food.
Yeah, well, that's right. That's the sign I had. Thanks, guys. I'm back. Eric Dick. Let's just kind of jump into it. Beto versus Cruz. What do you think, Russell? What do you think of the debate that happened last night?
I think Beto really has a good campaign on his hands. I think there are many people that are coming to my house day after day asking me to sign for them, and there's more signs on every lawn.
I keep getting text messages.
Yeah, I get text messages too. You know, he's really trying, and he has this grassroots campaign, but I don't think he's going to beat Cruz. I don't think he has what it takes. I think he's likable, but I don't think
he doesn't have the experience.
He doesn't have the experience. He doesn't have the aura about him to be our next senator.
Since when did his experience become a requirement to win an election?
I guess not.
What are you talking about, man?
Just in comparing the two, when you look at the two of them, when you're trying to determine which do you feel will win in the long run, it just seems like Cruz seems more together. Now, I'm not saying we're supporting either. We're not getting into that drama here.
Well, in my opinion, I'm just talking about as far as the ability to get out the vote, make sure your voters, make sure your base shows up for the election. That's who determines. I mean, because there's a lot of great judicial candidates on the ballot.
Phenomenal.
Yes.
Sherry Dean, John Schmoody,
Alicia
York, yes.
Millard.
Yes.
Prime.
It's Prine. Judge Prine is on there.
Charlie.
Right, but it's not.
Hi, Judge Prine.
He's probably watching.
If you're listening, hi,
he probably is. He probably is.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh.
Yes, there are a lot.
But it's not based on that. It's based on who gets the people out to vote. I mean, all of those judges are in jeopardy of losing their jobs.
Absolutely.
If the Republican base doesn't get out there and kick butt, or if the Democrats are some way super motivated to come out to vote.
Well, I see some of the judges that are really trying. They're going a little bit further than normal because I think they really do feel that they need to just advocate for themselves.
And I think they're right. Just me sitting on the sidelines here, I see that I've never seen so many signs. I've never seen so much support for a Democrat running for U.S. Senate. I'm not saying he's going to win because he's not. He doesn't have the ability to get Republicans to support him, and unfortunately, Texas is at least 2/3. I'll be generous and say 60% Republican. And I'm not saying the Republicans like Ted Cruz, because a lot of them don't. Shockingly, a very large amount of them don't. I'm sorry, folks, they don't. I have county commissioners in Harris County telling me what a SOB he is. And these are people in his own county. I'm not going to name names.
Not this
You're not
time.
safe on this show.
I'm not going to name names, but if you know me, you can deduct it pretty quick. But I have.
Only 4 of them.
I know there's only 4 of them. But anyway, my point is this: is that for Beto to win, and I think he had more of a shot prior to the debate. But for him to win, he has to have crossover appeal. And all he did is he showed he was a liberal Democrat.
Correct.
Moderates wanted to vote for him. They still don't like Ted Cruz. I don't know whether they're going to vote or not. Independents, they don't particularly like Ted Cruz, but they're afraid of Beto because he's a socialist. And maybe he's not per se a socialist, but he's very, very liberal, and that can't be denied. So that's it. I think the race truly is Beto's to lose, and he's losing it.
And you think if he was in the middle, he'd have a greater shot at that point?
I absolutely think he could win. I think if he just told Republicans, "Hey guys, look, I'm Christian. I know I don't like abortion. I don't really support abortion, but I think you should have you should work there, or at least say, look, I'm just a senator. I'm not going to touch those rights. What I'm first as a Texan, I care about helping people."
And I care about keeping us secure. If he didn't have to say, I support building a wall. He just had to say, I understand that something needs to be out there to secure our borders, to take care of us as Texans.
And he was right about not having a wall, dividing your property. That happens along the border. You have the government actually build a wall and separate your property, where he's right on that. He is. You shouldn't have government going there and putting a big wall in the middle of your property.
Correct.
Taking away your real estate.
Probably pay your rent.
If they would, I wouldn't mind the wall.
Right.
Chip in.
So he's not off on that. I do support a wall being built. I just don't think you should destroy people's property building the wall.
Well, I thought he did a really good job of comparing him to Hillary. He kept
Ted Cruz?
Ted Cruz. He kept saying you and Hillary, which is a really good strategy in my opinion. And he also started talking about him not being lockstep with Texas. That's not what he tried to almost make him the outsider, which I thought he did a really good job.
But what Ted also did a good job is acting like a jerk. And that's what he's really good at. And I don't mean to be anything, but whenever you had Beto at the very end try to be nice and Ted kind of being a little sarcastic, it didn't help him. There's a reason why this race is as close as it is. There has to be a reason why. And I don't buy into a bunch of liberals pouring money into it, because that happens all the time. The reason it's so close is because Ted Cruz is not likable.
Correct.
And the reason he's not likable is how he treats people. And this is what I tell all the politicians I meet, all the great judges that we named before. How you treat people, how you treat the people in your court, how you treat people that you don't even expect. That plays a giant role in politics.
And life.
And business and everything.
Yeah. It resonates.
It does resonate.
Well, almost 4 million people did vote for Hillary Clinton, by the way. It was, a 43 to 53% Hillary versus Trump, 2 years ago. So there are a lot of Democrats in Texas who has the ability to vote for a veto.
What was the end numbers with Trump and Hillary?
I think Trump got about 53% to Hillary's 43%.
Well, there you go. So even
4.8 million to 3.8 million.
I'm going to give Beto the benefit of the doubt and say he gets the 48%.
Well, and that's the thing. That's the whole point that Eric's making, is that even if he needs to do something to make himself more likable to some of the Republicans that are on the fence or the independents, because even if he gets what Hillary got, he's not going to win.
But that line was, you're still talking about half of the state. So in my opinion, a large portion of where Hillary votes came from was the same area that Cruz is on.
Well, what I think Eric is saying is that Cruz is vulnerable right now, right, and Beto could do a better job of grabbing the people that are on the fence by being more moderate, but he's not doing that. He has a shot, and he's not taking it. That's what I think.
That's exactly what I'm saying. But I don't think Beto is. I think he comes off as a nice guy, as a passionate guy.
Right.
I disagree with him strongly on a number of issues, but I think personality only goes so far. Though he has a good personality, he'd have to at least not scare Republicans, even just people that dislike Ted Cruz, to think that even though we dislike Ted Cruz strongly, we might dislike you more. That's
basically
that's it.
Well, you can't underestimate speeches and likability. There was a young black fella a couple of years back who won the presidency a couple times,
but he didn't win Texas. He won Harris County, and I will note. I'm not saying Beto won't win Harris County, and this is what we'll kind of maybe end on this, is that we have some really, really great people on the Republican side running for office. And what I've heard is there's been internal polling with the Republican Party. I've even heard that Dan Patrick has some serious apprehension that the Republicans lose Harris County.
Right.
And if that happens, it's going to be very sad, because people like Sherry Dean, and I've known her a long time, she is a very, very sweet woman.
Roy Moore, too. We almost forgot about
Judge Farr. Judge Farr is probably one of the most qualified family law judges on the bench. He's amazing, and he's up for re-election, and that's what's going to be difficult, is if people go out there and vote straight party, which I do not advocate. Please don't do that. If you don't know anything about these family law judges, message me on Facebook. I'm happy to discuss it with you. I'm happy to tell you why I support these judges, because they have experience. They do well. They do their job in such a manner that you are proud to work in Harris County.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you next week. You guys have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks. Sorry.
That's okay.
I talk way too much.
Everyone, thanks for tuning in. Hope to hear from you soon. Hope to hear your comments. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks a lot, everybody. We appreciate you watching.
Okay. Still learning this. Hi, this is Eric Dick, and I think it's important that you know your rights. If your homeowner's insurance company has denied or underpaid your claim, you have the right to hire an attorney. You have the right to call me for a free consultation at 833-7-RIGHTS. That's 833-7-RIGHTS. Don't let your homeowner's insurance company take advantage of you. Call me today at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Has your homeowner's insurance claim been denied or underpaid? Call Dick Law Firm at 833-7-RIGHTS.
Feeding rocks. It should not be a crime to feed the homeless. Feeding rocks. A good Samaritan shouldn't be punished for acts of kindness. Feeding rocks. Because it's more of a crime to turn your back on a starving person. Feeding rocks. You shouldn't go to jail for sharing food. Feeding rocks. You can't in good conscience let a hungry person starve. Feeding rocks. Help us legalize charity. Go online and sign the petition. www.feeding.rocks. Feeding Rocks.
A Houston man tonight is taking on the city of Houston. He is suing, saying he has the constitutional right to feed the homeless this Thanksgiving and any other day that he chooses.
Fox 26's Donnelly Keith is live at Houston City Hall with more details on this. Donnelly?
Yeah, you may remember the charitable feeding ban went into effect a few years ago, making it illegal to feed the homeless. Well, Philip Paul Bryant says it shouldn't be against the law to give food to someone in need. He says it should be the other way around, a crime not to give.
Of just trying to make sure a fellow human doesn't starve.
It sounds simple enough.
We aren't asking for anything else than to be able to give food to those that are less fortunate. Please let us do it.
Houston City Council members say they passed the charitable feeding ban to ensure homeless people receive food prepared under health code regulations, and so those in need will turn to an organization to eat, so they will receive other resources, services, and shelter as well.
Many of them take probably no more than 150 people. How many homeless are there? You cannot fit all the homeless into the shelters.
We pursued this lawsuit because we felt the city was trying to disenfranchise not only on the less fortunate, but also trying to discourage good people, good Samaritans from doing the right thing.
It's Thanksgiving. It's the whole purpose of this holiday is to share food and eat. Let us practice our religion. Let us follow our faith. That's all we're asking.
If someone doesn't give them food, they won't have food to eat that night.
Bryant says a number of groups wanting to set up outdoors and feed the homeless this Thanksgiving are discouraged for fear of being punished by the police.
There's going to be a lot of people who are on that border of saying, yeah, do we feed them, do we not feed them, do we want to go to jail, do we want to get a ticket?
Now, those who want to gather and feed the homeless have to first get permission from the city, and depending on where you plan to set up, you'll have to get permission from the property owner as well. There is a $500 fine for violating the ban, and you could go to jail if you don't pay that fine. We're live in downtown Houston. I'm Donnelly Keith, Fox 26 News.
A local pastor is fed up, and he's challenging the Houston homeless feeding ordinance.
And the city requires you to get a permit if you are going to share food. He can't get a permit because he doesn't know where he's going to share food.
Philip Paul Bryant regularly keeps cans of tuna and water bottles in his car to hand out to homeless people. But under the current city ordinance, he's breaking the law. His attorney says Bryant does this because his faith teaches him to help the less fortunate.
This law that's in place, it's a mean-spirited law. It's against, charity. It's against kindness. It's against doing the right thing.
Eric Dick says they plan to fight this till the mayor and city officials overturn what some believe is a misguided ordinance.
A Houstonian claiming his religious freedom is being denied might soon see his lawsuit against the city dismissed.
And it appeared that Judge Kyle Carter was thinking about dismissing the case, saying that Philip doesn't have standing.
Philip Paul Bryant filed a lawsuit in 2017 claiming his religious rights to charitable giving were being infringed upon by a 2012 Houston Feeding the Homeless ordinance. In the city of Houston, you can give 5 homeless people a sandwich, but that 6th sandwich, that's the one that will cost you.
Could be fined $500 to $2,000, or you could even take the risk with going to jail.
According to his attorney, Eric Dick, Bryant's case may not find a home in Harris County Civil Court.
They're saying that my client, he waited over a year to file a lawsuit since he found out about the law. If people just found out about the law and they want to sue the city for this illegal act, I'm happy to represent them for free. I think that it's a mean world whenever acts of charity are criminal.
To be fair, the ordinance doesn't outright ban the giving of food to the homeless. It just creates a lot of hurdles to jump through to do it lawfully.
My children are a big deal in this, and teaching them how to give to the community. If they want to make 10 sack lunches and go hand them around downtown Houston, I shouldn't have to go to my government office in order to obtain permission just to give those sandwiches.
breaking the law, one meal at a time, feeding the homeless.
It is morally wrong to make it a crime to give food.
A Houston man who feeds the homeless because of his faith is suing the city, challenging the established charitable feeding ban. The often debated ordinance has banned sharing food in public groups of more than 5 people without city permission since 2012.
The city says you can give food to 5 people, not 6. What are you supposed to tell the 6th person? I met my quota today?
The city wants to dismiss Philip Paul Bryant's lawsuit.
That's a crime? What does this world come to? It's a sad day whenever trying to prevent a fellow human from starving is a crime.
The city says the ordinance aims to curb trespassing and littering, both of which were already prohibited in the municipal code prior to the passing of the ordinance. While some Houstonians are in support of the lawsuit,
I really hope he wins his case, and I really hope they lift those sanctions so we can be able to give more to the needy.
So if you're willing to help more than 5 homeless people, you should be able to do that.
Some even challenge the city's support of their citizens.
The city isn't going to take care of their homeless people. That's their people. Somebody got to take care of them. So why can't we take care of them?
A question Houstonians will continue to ask as long as the ban remains.
Property damage from Hurricane Harvey is devastating. That pain has been made worse by your insurance company underpaying or outright denying your claim, sometimes without even inspecting your home. I'm attorney Eric Dick, and it's my job to make insurance companies accountable. If you feel you've been taken advantage of by a greedy insurance company, call me today at 833-3HARVEY, 833-3HARVEY. That's 833-3HARVEY. Call me right now.
A Houston man tonight is taking on the city of Houston. He is suing, saying he has the constitutional right to feed the homeless this Thanksgiving and any other day that he chooses.
Fox 26's Damalie Keith is live at Houston City Hall with more details on this. Damalie?
Yeah, you may remember the charitable feeding ban went into effect a few years ago, making it illegal to feed the homeless. Well, Philip Paul Bryant says it shouldn't be against the law to give food to someone in need. He says it should be the other way around, a crime not to give.
Of just trying to make sure a fellow human doesn't starve.
It sounds simple enough.
We aren't asking for anything else than to be able to give food to those that are less fortunate. Please let us do it.
Houston City Council members say they passed the charitable feeding ban to ensure homeless people receive food prepared under health code regulations, and so those in need will turn to an organization to eat, so they will receive other resources, services, and shelter as well.
Many of them take probably no more than 150 people. How many homeless are there? You cannot fit all the homeless into the shelters.
We pursued this lawsuit because we felt the city was trying to disenfringe not only on the less fortunate, but also trying to discourage good people, good Samaritans from doing the right thing.
It's Thanksgiving. It's the whole purpose of this holiday is to share food and eat. Let us practice our religion. Let us follow our faith. That's all we're asking.
Someone doesn't give them food, they won't have food to eat that night.
Bryant says a number of groups wanting to set up outdoors and feed the homeless this Thanksgiving are discouraged for fear of being punished by the police.
There's going to be a lot of people who are on that border of saying, yeah, do we feed them, do we not feed them, do we want to go to jail, do we want to get a ticket?
Now, those who want to gather and feed the homeless have to first get permission from the city, and depending on where you plan to set up, you'll have to get permission from the property owner as well. There is a $500 fine for violating the ban, and you could go to jail if you don't pay that fine. We're live in downtown Houston. I'm Damalie Keith, Fox 26 News.
A local pastor is fed up, and he's challenging the Houston homeless feeding ordinance.
And the city requires you to get a permit if you are going to share food. He can't get a permit because he doesn't know where he's going to share food.
Philip Paul Bryant regularly keeps cans of tuna and water bottles in his car to hand out to homeless people. But under the current city ordinance, he's breaking the law. His attorney says Bryant does this because his faith teaches him to help the less fortunate.
This law that's in place, it's a mean-spirited law. It's against, charity. It's against kindness. It's against doing the right thing.
Eric Dick says they plan to fight this till the mayor and city officials overturn what some believe is a misguided ordinance.
A Houstonian claiming his religious freedom is being denied might soon see his lawsuit against the city dismissed.
And it appeared that Judge Kyle Carter was thinking about dismissing the case, saying that Philip doesn't have standing.
Philip Paul Bryant filed a lawsuit in 2017 claiming his religious rights to charitable giving were being infringed upon by a 2012 Houston Feeding the Homeless ordinance. In the city of Houston, you can give 5 homeless people a sandwich, but that 6th sandwich, that's the one that will cost you.
Could be fined $500 to $2,000, or you could even take the risk with going to jail.
According to his attorney, Eric Dick, Bryant's case may not find a home in Harris County Civil Court.
They're saying that my client, he waited over a year to file a lawsuit since he found out about the law. If people just found out about the law and they want to sue the city for this illegal act, I'm happy to represent them for free. I think that it's a mean world whenever acts of charity are criminal.
To be fair, the ordinance doesn't outright ban the giving of food to the homeless. It just creates a lot of hurdles to jump through to do it lawfully.
My children are a big deal in this, and teaching them how to give to the community. If they want to make 10 sack lunches and go hand them around downtown Houston, I shouldn't have to go to my government office in order to obtain permission just to give those sandwiches.
Breaking the law, one meal at a time, feeding the homeless.
It is morally wrong to make it a crime to give food.
A Houston man who feeds the homeless because of his faith is suing the city, challenging the established charitable feeding ban. The often debated ordinance has banned sharing food in public groups of more than 5 people without city permission since 2012.
The city says you can give food to 5 people, not 6. What are you supposed to tell the 6th person? I met my quota today?
The city wants to dismiss Philip Paul Bryant's lawsuit.
That's a crime? What does this world come to? It's a sad day whenever trying to prevent a fellow human from starving is a crime.
The city says the ordinance aims to curb trespassing and littering, both of which were already prohibited in the municipal code prior to the passing of the ordinance. While some Houstonians are in support of the lawsuit,
I really hope he wins his case, and I really hope they lift those sanctions so we can be able to give more to the needy.
So if you're willing to help more than 5 homeless people, you should be able to do that.
Some even challenge the city's support of their citizens.
The city isn't going to take care of their homeless people. That's their people. Somebody got to take care of them. So why can't we take care of them?
A question Houstonians will continue to ask as long as the ban remains.
Property damage from Hurricane Harvey is devastating. That pain has been made worse by your insurance company underpaying or outright denying your claim, sometimes without even inspecting your home. I'm attorney Eric Dick, and it's my job to make insurance companies accountable. If you feel you've been taken advantage of by a greedy insurance company, call me today at 833-3HARVEY, 833-3HARVEY. That's 833-3HARVEY. Call me right now.
A Houston man tonight is taking on the city of Houston. He is suing, saying he has the constitutional right to feed the homeless this Thanksgiving and any other day that he chooses.
Fox 26's Damalie Keith is live at Houston City Hall with more details on this. Damalie?
Yeah, you may remember the charitable feeding ban went into effect a few years ago, making it illegal to feed the homeless. Well, Philip Paul Bryant says it shouldn't be against the law to give food to someone in need. He says it should be the other way around, a crime not to give.
Of just trying to make sure a fellow human doesn't starve.
It sounds simple enough.
We aren't asking for anything else than to be able to give food to those that are less fortunate. please let us do it.
Houston City Council members say they passed the charitable feeding ban to ensure homeless people receive food prepared under health code regulations, and so those in need will turn to an organization to eat, so they will receive other resources, services, and shelter as well.
Many of them take probably no more than 150 people. How many homeless are there? You cannot fit all the homeless into the shelters.
We pursued this lawsuit because we felt the city was trying to disenfringe not only on the less fortunate, but also trying to discourage good people, good Samaritans from doing the right thing.
It's Thanksgiving. It's the whole purpose of this holiday is to share food and eat. Let us practice our religion. Let us follow our faith. That's all we're asking.
If someone doesn't give them food, they won't have food to eat that night.
Brian says a number of groups wanting to set up outdoors and feed the homeless this Thanksgiving are discouraged for fear of being punished by the police.
There's going to be a lot of people who are on that border of saying, yeah, do we feed them, do we not feed them, do we want to go to jail, do we want to get a ticket?
Now, those who want to gather and feed the homeless have to first get permission from the city, and depending on where you plan to set up, you'll have to get permission from the property owner as well. There is a $500 fine for violating the ban, and you could go to jail if you don't pay that fine. We're live in downtown Houston. I'm Damalie Keith, Fox 26 News.
A local pastor is fed up, and he's challenging the Houston homeless feeding ordinance.
And the city requires you to get a permit if you are going to share food. He can't get a permit because he doesn't know where he's going to share food.
Philip Paul Bryan regularly keeps cans of tuna and water bottles in his car to hand out to homeless people. But under the current city ordinance, he's breaking the law. His attorney says Bryan does this because his faith teaches him to help the less fortunate.
This law that's in place, it's a mean-spirited law. It's against, charity. It's against kindness. It's against doing the right thing.
Eric Dick says they plan to fight this till the mayor and city officials overturn what some believe is a misguided ordinance.
A Houstonian claiming his religious freedom is being denied might soon see his lawsuit against the city dismissed.
And it appeared that Judge Kyle Carter was thinking about dismissing the case, saying that Philip doesn't have standing.
Philip Paul Bryant filed a lawsuit in 2017 claiming his religious rights to charitable giving were being infringed upon by a 2012 Houston Feeding the Homeless ordinance. In the city of Houston, you can give 5 homeless people a sandwich, but that 6th sandwich, that's the one that will cost you.
Could be fined $500 to $2,000, or you could even take the risk with going to jail.
According to his attorney, Eric Dick, Bryant's case may not find a home in Harris County Civil Court.
They're saying that my client, he waited over a year to file a lawsuit since he found out about the law. If people just found out about the law and they want to sue the city for this illegal act, I'm happy to represent them for free. I think that it's a mean world whenever acts of charity are criminal.
To be fair, the ordinance doesn't outright ban the giving of food to the homeless. It just creates a lot of hurdles to jump through to do it lawfully.
My children are a big deal in this, and teaching them how to give to the community. If they want to make 10 sack lunches and go hand them around downtown Houston, I shouldn't have to go to my government office in order to obtain permission just to give those sandwiches.
Breaking the law, one meal at a time, feeding the homeless.
It is morally wrong to make it a crime to give food.
A Houston man who feeds the homeless because of his faith is suing the city, challenging the established charitable feeding ban. The often debated ordinance has banned sharing food in public groups of more than 5 people without city permission since 2012.
The city says you can give food to 5 people, not 6. What are you supposed to tell the 6th person? I met my quota today?
The city wants to dismiss Philip Paul Bryant's lawsuit.
That's a crime? What does this world come to? It's a sad day whenever trying to prevent a fellow human from starving is a crime.
The city says the ordinance aims to curb trespassing and littering, both of which were already prohibited in the municipal code prior to the passing of the ordinance. While some Houstonians are in support of the lawsuit,
I really hope he wins his case, and I really hope they lift those sanctions so we can be able to give more to the needy.
So if you're willing to help more than 5 homeless people, you should be able to do that.
some even challenge the city's support of their citizens.
The city isn't going to take care of their homeless people. That's their people. Somebody got to take care of them. So why can't we take care of them?
A question Houstonians will continue to ask as long as the ban remains.
Property damage from Hurricane Harvey is devastating. That pain has been made worse by your insurance company underpaying or outright denying your claim, sometimes without even inspecting your home. I'm attorney Eric Dick, and it's my job to make insurance companies accountable. If you feel you've been taken advantage of by a greedy insurance company, call me today at 833-3HARVEY, 833-3HARVEY. That's 833-3HARVEY. Call me right now.